CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS 80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of CoCoTALK. We bring you episode 138 this week. It's a winter wonderland. You guys ready to start talking Coco?
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, we're here, man. We're here. Game on, man. Game on. CoCoTALK is live in your face. We're here. We're going to talk about the color computer and God knows what else. We've got a wonderful panel compiled for you. We've got in the bottom right-hand corner of the panel the Coco Man himself, Jason Reichard. Welcome, Jason.
He's muted.
Hey, that's great. No ukuleles were harmed in the filming of this episode.
I wish one was.
Jason's not here.
Yeah. You're showing up twice in the panel, Jason. That's why I said in the bottom right-hand corner. I didn't realize you were there. And
I'm all over the place.
Maybe it's Stuart Chaffee.
Yeah. Yes.
I think the other one might be Stuart Chaffee.
We got another guy with us. He's pretty low-key. He's a guy that you really need to draw the energy out of and really, put a mirror under him sometimes to see if he's alive. But we got a guy who calls himself David Ladd. He's with us. Hey, David, are you here? And how are you feeling about being here today?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. I've been up all night playing with a new toy. I'm just energized. Oh, you just don't know how much I'm energized. You should have heard Curtis last night. I was just going completely crazy. I can vouch for that part. Yes,
You still are.
And as always, a very subdued David Ladd.
Yes.
Chet, can you help calm him down, Chet?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I've seen monkeys with less enthusiasm.
Yes. David, take your pill.
Oh, thanks for
No, he did. That's the whole problem.
He hasn't had his the daily dose of Placeblex yet.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he took the whole bottle, actually. But
Are you having problems with your Diet Dr. Pepper to water ratio?
Oh no, I'm straight, sir. I'm going full caffeine overload plus floppy overload.
Wow. We got a guy from Australia. We got a guy with us from Australia. He's a big fan of Nitrous 9, big fan of OS9. It's none other than Nicholas Marentes. Good day, Nick.
Crikey. Hey, good day, everyone.
So, Nick, how does it feel to be right next to David Ladd in the panel?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried.
and more importantly, do you fear for your life?
I do. Can you shift me around a bit? Can you move me in the top?
We got Nick's neighbor, just a boomerang throws away. David O'Connor's with us. Good day, David.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. I cannot be quite as excited and as over the rainbow as David Ladd, but I do share his same name.
Yep. At least not legally, but yes.
Yeah, we got two Davids and two Nicks on the show right now. We got our backup streaming guy and all-around Coco dude and fun guy to hang out with. We got Mark Bosley on the panel. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
From Canada, our resident news anchor, L. Curtis Boyle.
Hello, everyone. I've been slowly cleaning up little small projects before I fully get back into ease of use here, which is kind of dependent on my mom. But I've got my sister coming up next weekend, so hopefully I'll get some time free again.
Is she hot?
No, she lives in Canada. Of course she's not hot.
How's your wife there, Stevie?
Is she watching the show?
Is she watching the show? Yeah.
Not anymore.
I wouldn't be a friend without asking you if your sister was hot, right? So,
Probably about minus 30 right now, but anyway.
From sunny Arizona, Ron Delvo is with us.
Hello there.
How are you, Ron?
Pretty good. Been doing a lot of artwork. Share later.
Oh, excellent, excellent. We've got the guy who knows a thing or two about the TDP. We've got Terry Steggy with us.
Hey guys, how's everybody today?
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Good.
Author of the upcoming Super Smash title Digger 3, Chet Simpson's in the house. Hey, Chet.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
And man whose name is so nice, we must say it thrice. It's Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
God.
I was
Not
doing
that.
well.
Yes, and joining us late, but he is here, and we're happy to have him. Alan Huffman from Sub-Etha Software is with us.
Greetings from Des Moines, Iowa, everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we've got some people with us in the live chat. Let's say hello, hello to everyone out there. So Chris Poacher is out there in the book face. On YouTube, we've got DeBruce Moore and Al Hartman's out here. Ken Reichert, Ken Make It is here. Hey, Ken. Hey, Nick Marotta. Hey, Al Hartman. Terry Steen is out here. Hey, Terry. Rob Inman is here with his very, very much Jim Brain-esque troll intro. Rob Inman says, like a winter whiteout highway pileup, better turn up the heat, get comfortable, and hope it's all over in a few hours. Welcome to CoCoTALK. Thank you, Rob.
I have to say he's getting better.
He's getting much better, getting more Jim Brainy with each new composition. Davey Mitchell is here. Ho, 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 CoCoTALK. Hey, Davey Mitchell. Chris Poacher, how you doing, Chris? David Lord is out here. Hola. Hey, David. Ken Make It is here. Terry Steen, Nick Marotta. All right, so we have said hi to the audience. We've said hi to the panel. We are going to get on with news, but before we do, what I spent the past day or two doing was kind of reorganizing and recompiling all the various retro commercials that we have. We try to run some Tandy and Radio Shack commercials, and I discovered that I've got a large collection of Christmas-themed commercials from both the United States and Australia. So I've put all of those together. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to see the latest Coco Thoughts from Samuel Gimes. We've got a brand new Coco Thoughts, and then we're going to run a block of Coco commercials that are all kind of Christmas themed, and then we'll be back with L. Curtis Boyle in the news. You guys excited for the latest Coco Thoughts?
Can't wait.
Here it is.
Absolutely.
World premiere.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. The sound card extender for the Coco SDC is the most anticipated product of this year, and next year, and probably the year after.
Radio Shack has something for everyone this Christmas. Like an AM/FM clock radio with snooze button, brightness control, and battery backup. Only $29.95. Or a stylish telephone with one-button memory dialing and handy hold button. Just $69.95. For real convenience, get a cordless telephone. Use it anywhere in or around the house. On sale for $99.95. Radio Shack. This Christmas, it's your electronic wonderland.
The Bakers. Now they like a family present. Let's see now. Tandy's color computer system with its own carry-home pack. That's a family affair.
Wow, Dad, a color computer. A computer cassette recorder.
And Aussie Accountant. That's for me.
And OzQuiz, for my school project. And 2 joysticks and a viewed game.
Okay, who's the expert?
Me, Dad.
Thank you, Tandy. Sam.
Every Christmas, Santa's little helpers go shopping at Radio Shack. Color Computer 2, a unique build idea from Radio Shack.
This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The color computer family pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronic store in Australia.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
This year, I needed to give a real family pleaser.
Honey, please, help me with this budget.
How about a new game, Dad? Please.
And I found it. Radio Shack's Color Computer 2. On sale for just $99.95. It entertains, educates, manages. It's expandable and affordable. Now that really pleases me.
The Color Computer 2. Sale priced for Christmas. Only at Radio Shack.
All right. Well, wasn't that a lovely block of Radio Shack commercials throughout the years from Australia to the United States?
Honey, please.
Please, Dad.
Please.
The price
The Australian
drop
ones,
as the commercial
the Australian ones don't really exist though. We're all just paid actors.
Well, I can tell that was high caliber acting there.
It definitely explains where some of the people on eBay are getting their prices.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
$700 for a Coco one. Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Look how shiny and white the
That better
Coco
be
and
number
MPI
one.
And it's a 4K non-extended basic too.
Yeah.
I think Lee Veal still has the number one.
Ooh.
Well, we're going to jump into news, and it's only been about 12 minutes into the show, so we're not doing like the 45-minute panel introductions, which is good. But in order to do this, to properly introduce news, and this is a professional show, we've got a brand new infographic produced by Rob Inman. So I'll be introducing L. Curtis Boyle with this. So prepare to be wowed. It's news from around the world with your anchor and correspondent, L. Curtis Boyle.
And now a Muppet News Flash.
All right.
Oh, that's all right.
I love the Muppets.
Wow,
that's good.
That's awesome.
We need more
set pretty
Muppets.
high there, Curtis.
Yeah. This is going to absolutely fail after that massive intro.
No pressure.
Yeah, none at all.
At all.
Hey, you guys can see.
We can see, L. Curtis.
Yeah.
All right, number
Certainly
one,
can.
and I'm sure all of us have been following with bated breath on this, on some of his other projects, but Ed Snyder had his first working prototype of his Coco 2 clone with pictures and a video.
Oh, you mean Ed
And-
Snyder's working on something?
Yeah.
That's like saying Jim Gary did a new MC10 port.
Yeah, exactly.
He won't sell to you if you're mean.
So let's see some of the pictures. Oh, did you just skip over it, or is that it? Okay. So that's the keyboard interface.
Yep, and it's plugged into his mechanical keyboard that he's also selling now as
Coco
well.
Mech keyboard.
Yep.
Very nice.
Which is absolutely fantastic.
There's a zoom up, and he's got the combined.
And that's the whole Coco.
ROMs.
I mean, that board is pretty small, but it's got all the chips jam-packed in there.
Yep.
Where are the, what I
Oh, look,
didn't,
you, now
what
you
I
notice
didn't-
where it says 1.3/1.1? That means that's a combo of color basic 1.3 and extended
The very
color
last
basic?
Coco 2s did that too. They had one ROM socket that had both combined, but
Where, one thing I didn't notice, where are the RAM chips?
He's using virtual memory.
Yeah, they're down at the bottom. There's two down at the very bottom.
The two on the very bottom there. So that's it. That's still kind of old schoolish socketed pin memory.
The
even.
CoCo2s only used 2 memory chips, did they? I've never actually seen the inside of a CoCo2, so I'm not familiar.
No,
with
The very last
464s.
ones used two memory chips, 4464s. The earlier ones used whatever the 4164,
4164s, yeah.
Yeah, they're 4 bits wide.
It was a combination of ones that they had used.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's neat. But
Well,
this
there you
is
go.
like basically this is all hardware. There's no FPGA on here. This is all chips. You can see them all.
Yeah.
You can see, and that must be the cartridge slot on the right hand side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Excuse me.
It's very, very cool.
Composite in the back and the 2 joystick ports. And
there we go.
One
There's
thing
headers for other bits and pieces too. So like things like I think you have the serial ports on a header, so you can plug in connectors to it if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's even got some modifications there to
A couple of bonus.
That's
contraptions in the
authentic
back
CoCo for you.
There's the actual size compared to the keyboard, so you can
Yeah,
actually get
look
the
at
scale.
That is the computer. That's like a little.
That is
mini
so cool.
computer. It is absolutely cool. Yeah, and it's doing composite very well, as you can tell there. The sky blue is very, very blue. Oh, David Lord's asking, "Where's the real-time clock?"
It's on a
It even
header.
has an LED there, so
You got an LED. Wow, we know that it's on. All right.
You know, the great thing about a board like that is that would give you a perfect way of doing a repack. You wouldn't even have to take the original CoCo and put it in a thing. You could just use this.
You're repacking a new CoCo into a different pack. Yeah. Honestly, it could probably fit underneath that keyboard. You could probably remake a CoCo where you just, the keyboard's the top of the computer and all your ports are underneath it. Who knows, right?
Yep. Or you could use a board that small and then make a CoCo SDC board that maybe goes off at an angle or something. You could actually have both inside a CoCo case, so you have a built-in virtual floppy hard drive.
Who's going to be the first one to make a CoCo Cray?
CoCo Cray, a supercomputer.
Yeah, stack 12 of them.
A super CoCo, multi-core.
Right.
Now he also released a video here. It's about just under 5 minutes, but I think it's worth playing the whole thing. What do you think, Stevie?
Sure, go ahead. We have no other content for today, so.
Here's a quick video. I'm going to show my
Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
small
Yeah, it's good.
CoCo2 clone board.
Can you make it full
running
screen?
here.
Last time I did that, it screwed up, but I can try.
It has a
gonna move my
CoCo
Discord stuff
plugged into
out of the
the
way.
expansion slot. It's got the usual things you'd expect on a CoCo2 clone.
Is that working?
It's
I
paused
went
now.
into the-
Yeah, okay, that's what happened last
video.
time. Every time I do
Yeah.
full screen, it pauses. I don't know why. It doesn't pause here; it just pauses for you guys.
Okay.
So I'll just leave
Okay.
it.
I
Alright,
did
that's
have
fine.
the 555 timer artifacting circuit on here, but the composite circuit that I put on here doesn't need it, so I'll be removing that in the next revision. I have a little adapter I wired up so I could use one of my CoCoMech keyboards here, and this is hooked up.
So the
just to
CoCo
regular
SDC is
composite.
sticking in
This
there right now.
Doesn't
Kind of
have an
vertical.
RF box or anything. It's just straight up composite at this point. And I'll fire it up here.
Boom.
So we'll boot up Time Bandit here, I guess.
Maximum
Yeah,
512K files. Don't you love that? That's why I had to break mine into folders. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Bandit. The keyboard sounds great, doesn't it? It's nice and clicky.
Yeah, I'm going to be ordering one of those
Feels-
shortly.
It's a fantastic keyboard to use. It really is. That's, in
Boom.
case I hadn't already mentioned
And
that.
you have to hit the reset like you would normally have to do to change colors. And there you go. See the screen looks
Yeah, the
pretty
picture
good?
is real clean.
I mean, it's
Yep.
about
That's
as clear
super
as
clean
you
composite
can
output.
see on a CoCo2.
It looks almost like CoCo VGA.
Yeah.
Well, the original CoCo 3's video in particular was kind of off spec a bit here, so I'm sure he's tweaked it to be a bit more to spec, so it works better.
Yeah, I mean the great thing about this though is that you can always add on to it. I know everybody's going to want every feature in the world in the computer, but you're trying to make a simple clone for as low cost as possible.
So anyway, yeah, this is a pretty neat little board.
Wasn't he planning on making a daughter board that gives you the CoCo VGA equivalent?
Next revision as
Maybe.
far as
Yeah,
the,
yep.
the power right now. There's no.
I know he's got so many
regulator
projects
board.
on right now, I can't
Outside
remember
of
them all.
5 volts coming in from an adapter. And I don't think the power requirements aren't that
5
huge,
volts.
even though it is all old school components.
Wow, that's
Couple
cool.
Joystick ports as usual.
Oh, through hole.
Runs
Normal through hole.
color
parts,
basic 1.3 and the extended basic run in one chip there, like some of the later CoCo2s. There's a little header there for the serial I/O. It's just going to be TTL level.
You hear that, David? TTL?
There's no level shift.
ESP, TTL, RS-232.
And let's see, the cassette header is right down in there.
Cassette header too,
Just
okay.
audio in and out, no motor.
I think those aren't used as often, so that's one of the things he's not building onto the board because it's going to be a more limited
Right,
people.
it's going to increase the size and the expense.
Yeah. But you can add them in if you want them, if you need them.
Reset switch right there.
Fan, did you see fan?
Oh, a fan, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not a lot to it. I mean, it's just a pretty standard. It's the standard design.
It's compact,
But not
super
much
compact.
different done to it.
Yep.
I just wanted to make a.
It's just so cool that there's a brand new CoCo2 out now.
Yeah.
Of some kind. That'll be fun to design.
Literally.
So the question becomes,
Did some things on there I posted
you know,
about, but
if you want a Coco to play on,
That's how
does it
this
matter
this
if it's an
project
old
right now.
original Coco or if it's just a new Coco that's the same and
I'm gonna
works?
send it. I'm going to do a little more testing.
I don't think in this case it
chips.
does because this is using the same chips. This is a Coco 2, just
Yeah.
compacted. It's not like an FPGA where it's
Right,
a simulation of it.
I'll do
Yeah, it's the real deal.
Still runs the same megahertz, right?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it also took out the RF modulator as well.
Because there's no RF box. Oh, that's the can. You're talking about the can itself, the whole can.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking
No
when you said
one really-
RF, I was thinking
Nobody
of the shield.
uses that anymore.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah,
of
well, a
the
lot of
RF.
TVs
No,
don't
it's
even
just-
support it anymore. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I use it.
Ron uses
Well,
it.
you're one of those, you know.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
I use it.
Yeah.
So
Does it
anyway,
support Coco
He's-
VGA?
Will it support Coco VGA?
Somebody said it did.
Yes.
I mean,
And
well,
David,
he's-
you
he's-
can announce
he's-
your thing later.
I mean, theoretically, because it's got a VDG socket, it probably can out of the box. It just needs, but there would be nice
He's
to
putting-
have a custom, like a bunk bed.
He's making it so you
second
can
layer
put a
board or
Coco
something.
VGA.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's making it so you can put a Coco VGA daughter board on top of it.
Right, but to be honest with you, just looking at how clean that composite was, if you don't need the extra features of the Coco VGA, this is out of the box, just about damn near perfect.
Curtis, we're still on
Yeah.
the last screen.
No, I see it. I see you're on Todd Wallace's. He showed us this last time he was on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it was this, did we do this one last time?
Well, this is his post on it where he's got it booting now from the Coco SDC. Before he was kind of showing us the video of how he was working on high res stuff, but now this is him showing
A bit of the actual gameplay, if I
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
So yeah, Todd Wallace, he's working on this game and using the high-res joystick routines that Nick and Sock came up with, and this demo here actually has a bit of the gameplay for those of you who've actually seen the original.
Hey guys, just a quick video. Update. I actually have a functioning game at this point using this Black Beauty, as it's called, the high resolution joystick code, and the object of the game is to eliminate as many blocks as you can and get as close to a blank board as possible. You can only click colors that have adjacent matching colors. So I can't click, this or this or this, but I can click this, and then that gets eliminated. And if you use strategy, you can eliminate some blocks which fall into more convenient places to eliminate others. So you figure, oh, that's pretty easy.
Kind of a Tetris spin, yeah.
You just keep clicking.
I have seen a game similar to this before, I think.
Well, that's what it's called. This is a clone of that, Clickomania.
Yeah, but I thought somebody had done something like this in the Coco one, but maybe I'm remembering that wrong. But now that I'm
too
thinking
much
about
about
it, no, never mind.
It's neat.
But
Yeah, it's definitely a different gameplay than
surprisingly
Tetris.
challenging.
Yes.
you usually get pretty low before things start going wrong. This.
And there's a lot of
Right,
games
I
getting
just kinda
developed for the
wanna
Coco
show
right
you.
now. There's at least half a dozen projects on the
See
go
how
that I
that
know.
one
Yeah.
kind of freed that one up. But then things start getting harder to control. And this is actually pretty good.
You're gonna
Now,
run
I
out
gotta
of
fix
shit
that.
real
What happened
quick.
there? So this is it. That's it.
boom.
Now we've run out of colors, and the score basically is the more you can eliminate, your higher your score. And to win, you get them all off, which is hard to do, but that's simple but fun. And still got lots more to do in terms of animating the blocks, and I'd like to do some music and other stuff. But right now I'm just redrawing the entire grid every time you click. But it technically works.
That's cool.
Working game
And
at this point.
he was trying to do the high-res interface on this too, right? So the joystick was smoother.
Yeah, that actually was demoing the high-res software.
Yeah, that's neat.
The no hardware high res.
Yeah.
And as I was mentioning before, we've got a lot of game projects on the go right now. And the nice thing is, too, is we've got a wide variety. We've got some arcade hits from like Chet and Nick. We've got casual games like this. We've got, the Oregon Trail port for simulations. And I mean, just a whole lot of development going on. It's really, really cool to see.
Very cool.
And speaking of games, Sheldon McDonald has on here where he's actually making a miniature version of the Black Beauty.
That is a beauty. Look at that.
Is this the child's version? I don't know what to call this.
Yeah.
The
It's a
baby
light
beauty.
beauty.
It's the Colt.
The Colt.
And it's got that thumb control, which is actually what I did. I had the older Black Beauties with the metal handle instead of the plastic one. I actually unscrewed it so I could control with just my thumb very easily. And his design is actually
it's
kind of
just too
based on
easy.
that. So I think this would actually be better for me.
That's a good idea. I've never thought of that. I got some with the metal handles too that I could unscrew. I might try that.
Yep. I put a little bit of tape on it because the screw mount there is a little bit sharp on the old fingers there if you really get going on a game hard. So it may cause bleeding.
Wow.
Use at your
Call
own
your
risk.
doctor.
Next up, Richard Kelly released an update to his basic NAER, which means not another expressway ripoff game on Facebook. And he's actually got a download for it.
Yeah, I actually reached out to Richard because he's been doing a lot of stuff, and I haven't had time to look at a lot of his stuff. But I have mentioned to him that we are featuring his posts on the show, and he says you're obviously welcome to show off everything. I asked him if he'd like to come on. His weekends aren't good for him, but this guy is cranking out a ton of content, and I know we kind of show off the fact people are posting these things on Facebook, but it'd be great to show off the games, and I barely ever have time to get this stuff queued up before the show, but I would love to be able to show off some of these games. This looks good, though. We're seeing a lot of different screenshots of it.
Yeah. Well, if he can't make it on the live show, we could do a little pre-record interview with him just off during the week.
Mm-hmm.
And this one looks like it has a couple of mini games in it, so it's not just one gameplay throughout. It's several things at once as you progress. I haven't had a chance to actually download and try it yet. Has anybody on the panel?
No, because I think last week we were showing off a text adventure game he had done too, some type of binary adventure. So I mean, this guy's got a lot of stuff, and I'd love to sit down and play with some of this.
Yeah, I would too once I have time.
Yep. Cool stuff. Thank you, Richard.
This one here, Roger Taylor released. Now, Ron Delvaux, you might know more about this than I do. I know he's got his Christmas CD, DVD, whatever you want to call it, where he's got a bunch of archive stuff that you can get elsewhere, but it's all nicely compacted into one place. Plus, he's got a few new things that he's put on that he wrote himself. I think the Santa's Fishing, which is basically a 4-voice music of Christmas themed music with some animated graphics playing at the same time. But I believe this is on his compilation, plus some other stuff he's added in. Is that right, Ron?
Correct. Yes.
And what else has he added on? Do you know?
He's got some archive stuff, piled in there.
Okay, but he has some new stuff that he added on too.
Yeah, he has there's a fireplace, 2 fireplaces, I believe. One is more real looking than the other, I think, with music playing. And what else? There's a Santa thing. but I haven't seen. That's about it, I think. But he's kind of all excited to try and get people interested in having either a CD or a DVD if you can or can't, one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was asking for people to submit contributions too, like submit me a audio or a video or something to put on its Christmas theme. So I'm not sure how many contributions he got, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. We'll have to buy it to see it, but yeah.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of stuff for the community. Do you know, Ron, is he including stuff like NetMate on there too? Or
I don't think so.
Okay, those are separate commercial things.
But he also was thinking of making it on a SD card in the future sometime.
Okay. Anyway, it's a pretty cool project. I know we've had some other, like the Ultimate SDC and stuff like that, but Roger's added some unique stuff that he's done himself on there as well. And it's nice to support him because he's done a lot of support for the community.
Oh,
He wrote a bunch of games back in the day, and he's written the NetMate terminal program, which is the first program since Sockmaster's Twilight Terminal that actually does the full ANSI stuff and has some extra features that Sox doesn't have.
I've seen a few people comment on one of the posts saying like, well, it's on a CD or a DVD, but I don't even have a computer that has that. And could you make it on an SD card or a flash drive? And I think while I don't disagree with the fact that optical media is less common on most of the newer computers,
I was one of those people, by the way.
It really has to do with the time and energy it would take to distribute that. So when it comes to making these CDs and DVDs, the author has to do it one time, upload everything from the digital ISO image and the artwork, and then a company will produce it and mail it for us. That's how I do the swag, and that's Rick Adams is doing it. Everybody, all the cool kids are doing it these days. But it's real easy from a production and distribution process to send it to a company that will fulfill the orders for you. In order to make an SD card or flash drive, he's going to have to sit there and manually drag and drop a bunch of files to a folder one at a time, and that takes time. And so,
you can pick up a USB CD-ROM pretty cheap too, or DVD-ROM.
Yeah, an external USB CD-ROM reader. So yeah,
I was just gonna say, like these companies that do the manufacturing of CDs and DVDs, they don't offer SD or
because I don't know that there's an easy way to do it. I don't know the process of mass production. It and it's real cheap to produce a CD or DVD because that technology's been around for eons. So I don't know what it would cost to mass produce
I think CDs
flash
are stamped,
drives. I don't. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I don't know if there's easy to find channels and cost-effective channels for that.
I know in the audio world, when you're producing albums, I do a lot of my releases through CD Baby, and they have a service where you can release your album through USB stick, and they mass produce USB sticks with your album on it. So I don't know whether there'd be something similar with SD cards.
Yeah, but I mean,
commercial CD pressing plants can press them in one motion, one movement.
Yeah,
so commercial ones can do CDs really
but yeah,
fast.
to get a CD-ROM reader, a USB CD-ROM reader, or DVD-ROM reader is not that hard to get. So, but I mean, it's a valid question, but I understand why that might not be an easy to do thing. It's just time consuming.
I'm just surprised that the actual places that manufacture these don't at least have the option, because CDs and DVDs are disappearing. They're not coming with computers anymore.
Right.
For a long time.
SD readers and stuff are quite common. USBs everywhere.
Yeah. And since we have John Lowry, who works for Apple here and loves talking about how amazing Apple is, you won't hear me do this often, but I will give Apple some props, because it was the original Mac Air going back to like 2006 was one of the first production computers that said, screw these CD-ROM drives. We don't need them. Right. So
that's true. And we took a lot of heat for it then, and we take a lot of heat for
phone jacks and batteries
all right, so let's not stray too far off topic. So,
but in the end, where does everybody go? Everybody does what we do in the end.
Cloud.
We just do it earlier.
All right, go drink your Kool-Aid.
I'm holding you responsible, John.
Yes. All right.
Excuse me, I have to go drink some Kool-Aid.
Go drink some Kool-Aid. Okay, we're back on news. All right.
As long as like that Diana Kool-Aid back from the 70s, you're good. Okay, next up, Bill Pierce. This is quite exciting to me personally, because I was really struggling with what to do with the incomplete 6 through 9 emulation in the VCC program, which is the easiest CoCo 3 emulator to set up.
Absolutely.
But had a lot of issues. And finally, we're actually getting some changes. I mean, the OVCC project is kind of where some of this came from, and that's Walter Zambody doing that. But he's fixed the 609 core, and then Bill backported it into the original VCC because there's some issues with the GUI and stuff on OVCC and getting it to work properly on all the different platforms because it's cross-platform. But there's actually a full release now of VCC 2.01c that has a fully working 609 core, as far as I can tell. I haven't tried every instruction, but some of the ones that did cause 201b to crash outright running Nitrous 9 now work flawlessly. So that means I'm going to be able to release the sped up versions of Run B and Basic 09 on the next Ease of Use Beta 5 and not have to worry about VCC people not being able to run it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm quite looking forward. Plus, now they're starting to work on some other things in there too. Hopefully they'll get some of the palette bugs worked out. Maybe they can get the second hard drive support. I'd really like them to add that if they can, because we're going to be releasing a blank, thanks to David Ladd, a blank 128 meg hard drive image for people to put their own stuff on. And that way I won't overwrite it every time I release a new beta. So anyway, it's available for download for Windows right now. So feel free to go grab it. It works quite well from what I've seen.
That's cool. Nice to see VCC getting some updates.
Yep. Now these next couple are kind of interesting. The first was by Kenneth, and I don't know how you pronounce his last name, Udu, I'm not sure.
Udut.
But he shared a YouTube video that is a transfer to a digital format of an old 45 composed in 1981, released in 1982, that was done completely on the Orchestra 80, which is the original Model 1 music card, and was the precursor to the Orchestra 90. In fact, the Tier City Model 1, and you guys that actually know them, like Nick Morendes, might be able to correct me on this, but I think there was a second version of the Orchestra that came out that added stereo for the Model 1 and 3, wasn't there?
Oh, I can't remember. I don't know.
But anyway, he actually released this as a 45, like an actual album that he pressed, hundreds of copies and sold. And the music is completely composed on the computer. So he actually has the entire thing up there. And I will play a little segment of that.
Yeah, you can actually hear the needle scratchy sound.
Yep, recording it off the 45. And it's Baroque, that's what he's into, so the entire album is like that. So I thought that was really cool.
You need to fix it if it's broke.
If it's not Baroque, then don't fix it.
If it's not Baroque, it's classical.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's got 8 songs on there, and they're varying things. And then in the comments section of the thread that started there, Bill Pierce mentioned that another musician who released songs that were written on the Coco specifically, using the Orchestra 90 and Musica 2, were written between 1988 and 1991 and were released on cassette.
Wow.
And the guy who did those, Lee Rosevere, who's still an active musician, 5 of his Coco recordings are now on the Internet Archive and are freely available for anybody who wants them. And I've got some of that queued up here too. So there's his 5 songs, and you can see the nice Coco we did in Lotus Graphics.
Yeah, that's semi-graphics.
This gives me all ideas for. I've got a domain name that I registered.
That's definitely Musica.
Yeah. Probably a bit loud too, isn't it?
It's pretty loud. Yeah, that's better.
But he actually played with waveforms and stuff. He was kind of explaining, so he did some custom waveforms to get the music a little bit different than the standard organ sound. Still pretty organy, but.
Well, that program used to let you fiddle with the harmonics, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's what was really cool.
Bit of a synthesizer type thing.
Yeah.
So this was basically using Musica to output to the 8-bit DAC.
Yeah, the stereo at
slightly higher fidelity.
Yeah, and stereo. He actually does support the stereo. So. Anyway, I won't play the whole album or anything here. Plus, he has a song that's called 101 Neat Things to Do with a Banana. I just thought that was cool.
I'm sure David
Call Before You Dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of Frank Zappa-ish as far as his titles go there.
Call Before You Dig is 811.
Which one?
Anyway, it's really cool to see like actual music created on computers, and especially since David O'Connor is actually doing the same thing right now.
Right.
To see what the kind of prehistory of that was, and other people that had done it, decades before. So you're following the footsteps of giants there, David.
Yeah, it was really inspiring and timely to see these things during the week and see people doing it. I go, oh, that's really cool. There's others that have, forerunners that have done this on very, very simple hardware running the Coco, and it's like this is so cool.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my first exposure to classical music was hearing these things on the Coco. And I was really captivated by it because it was on my computer and it was electronics. It was kind of video gamey, but at the same time, it exposed me to classical music, which I still appreciate to this day. The first time I heard Bach and Beethoven were on the Coco, so this really brings me back. Really brings me back.
Mine was Looney Tunes, Barbara Seville with Bugs Bunny.
Country Roads. Yeah, I still remember hearing Country Roads.
Kill the Wabbit.
Yeah, Country Roads
kill
was the
the
first one I
Wabbit.
ever heard.
Yeah, I heard the Country Roads, and it was putting the little semi-graphic symbols up on the screen while the song was playing and stuff. It just it was so cool to hear something that resembled music on your Coco.
Looks like an injection needle, man.
Yeah, man.
One of my earliest computer music things that I saw was a guy from my hometown had written a computer program for the Model 1, which was notorious for the RF that it threw off. And you would literally put a radio next to the Model 1. And this guy had discovered, just from having a radio nearby, that when you're programming in machine language, certain loops would produce certain frequencies. So he played around. He played around with various loops until he could produce all of the notes in the scale, and then wrote a program to do music. And you would literally take a radio and set it next to the Model 1 and run this program, and it would play music out of your radio.
That first wireless speaker.
I actually remember.
Yeah, wireless.
I actually remember that.
I mean, wasn't that how the normal sound came out of the Model 1 too? Didn't it come out through the cassette port or something?
Yeah, it came out of the cassette port, similar to well, I guess no. I guess the way the Model 3 worked too. The only sound that was just cheated basically out of the cassette port.
Okay, that's cool though. When it's like once you know how this is all just dealing with the laws of physics and science and stuff. Once you know that this is going to generate this frequency signal and then radio is going to hear it, you kind of force that. That's cool.
I feel buzzing in my head.
Yeah, I gotta put on my my aluminum helmet, man. My tinfoil hat, man. It's getting into my
magic
brain.
helmet.
All this music stuff with the Cocos and everything here, too. All this the original stuff here. That's given me ideas for I've got a domain name I registered a while ago that I haven't really done much with yet, called CoCoTweaks.com. And this would be good stuff to put up there and put on that. Share other people's work and give it some exposure, and that'll be
very cool.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, and we've had several professional musicians that have actually written songs on the Coco. Like I know Mike Knutson, who wrote Altamuse, which is a 16-voice MIDI program on the Coco 3 that lets you actually program all 16 notes at once. And Dennis Bathory Kitts, who we've had on the show before for an interview, have both written professional music that's actually been played by orchestras later on the Coco using the tools they wrote. Color Quaver in Dennis's knews and Altamuse in Mike Knutson's case. So,
well, plus he did something else where you walk in a room.
Yeah, and it ambiently detected you and adjusted the notes based on how people moved through the room. So it was like a living, breathing room almost. Yeah, it was cool.
Pretty awesome.
That is cool. Cool. Coco music, man. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Bill Pierce.
That's what my new album's called, Coco Music.
Bill Pierce appears a second time here. He released version 1.0.3 W of M Shell for Nitrous 9. If you're running if you're running as M Shell 1.02 and you're also running DriveWire 4, you can directly download it to the Coco over the internet through DriveWire 4.
Wow.
And if not, you can download and install it the old-fashioned way. So
almost sounds like a Linux command at this point, like an apt-get or something. It's like
kind of
just installing software.
And it's actually GUI driven, so it's a bit easier than that.
Wow.
It includes some new features and bug fixes, requires 512K, and as Nick and I have discovered, 1 or 2 meg RAM is definitely recommended because it can suck that pretty quick. There is, I think we have a version of it, an older version of it on the current beta 4 that's out right now. I'm going to be putting the new one on there. It's mainly a file and folder manipulation utility. It's not an app launcher like G Shell is. So it does file copies and that kind of stuff a lot better, and it has more robustness to it than G Shell does. But it's not a launcher, so you can run both simultaneously or separately depending on what you're doing.
Now, isn't there something in tools that Somebody on the panel here wrote. You know it's a file manager. It's called Tools or something like that.
Oh yeah, the guy from down south there in South America.
Oh right, yeah, no, what you're talking about. Yeah, sorry.
Talking about Diego?
Yeah, Diego.
Go, Diego, go.
Yeah, because his is a disk basic based one, right?
Yeah, that one is. But what I'm speaking of is on maybe it's in apps under utilities.
In OS 9?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Towel?
Yeah, that's it.
Towel. I threw
If
mine
Alan
in.
Huffman is still on the panel, that's actually his program. He can tell you about it.
Alan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Tell us about Towel.
Towel was just a very powerful way to batch copy select files from one place to the next. I mean, it could do other things, but I used it constantly you'd open up a directory, you could just quickly mark, file 5, 9, and 12, and then copy them somewhere else. So it was kind of an alternative to doing a bunch of command line stuff or having to have multi-view and all the overhead of that. But it was mostly a simple file copy utility that also would let you launch format and other utilities, including ones you wanted to put on your own in the customization menu.
Just something you threw in, huh?
Yeah, because once you have the framework, I used it all the time for copy. That was the most thing I used it for. I ran it regularly. It's what I used to make all my master disks for Subetha software and all kinds of stuff like that. And at some point, I'm going to completely redo the whole thing and update it with what I've learned about programming since I wrote that one like 30 years ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was that a solo effort from you, Alan, or was that with some of your compatriots from Subetha? Or
that one was all me. That was basically the what we call it. The EtherWin interface was a text user interface that would give you pop-up boxes, pull
drop-down menus. Yeah.
Yeah, from a text screen without needing a graphical screen, and it even had a mouse. It would move the cursor around like a mouse. You could drive it with a mouse or a keyboard. And the thought was somebody could quickly write something that gave them a user interface without having to learn multi-view. And I wrote it because I couldn't figure out how to write multi-view apps. That was just way too complicated for me back then. Probably still is now.
Oh, no, it's a lot better. Like Basic 09, we've got the new GFX2 that actually has all the stuff for supporting pull-down menus and events and stuff. That's much easier to use than the old syscall way.
Oh, there you have it.
Thanks, man.
But Alan's takes a lot less memory than multi-view because, like you said, it's on a text screen. You could run that on a 128K machine fairly comfortably, depending on what tasks you were doing. Whereas multi-view don't even.
And what inspired the name Towel, Alan?
Well, a towel is the most useful thing an intergalactic hitchhiker can have, and it was designed to be one of the most useful apps for OS 9 that I had.
Okay.
A bit of Douglas Adams there, eh?
Yep.
Well, that makes it simple when you say it.
Yeah.
Until then, it's like, what?
Right.
Yeah, Alan usually dressed up in a hitchhiker's type theme at the fest too. So.
Yeah, but I always
should have had a boot screen on it that said "Do not."
And towel.
Yep, and have a boot screen on it when you start it up that says "Don't panic."
Well, the demo, we released a demo of the interface, and it actually did say "Don't panic" on the screen. And Joel Hagberg had a checkbook program called Checkbook Plus, which was kind of like the Max 10 or Coco Max of checkbook programs. And in the calculator that popped up, if you used one of the function keys, it had a shortcut where it put in 42 for you, because you might want to type that a lot.
That's cool.
Hey, Alan.
Yo.
I'm glad you didn't use Zaphod Beeblebrox.
That's the administrative password because we figured nobody could type it correctly and get into it.
But does it take you to the galaxy to the restaurant at the end of the universe and give you a pan-galactic gargle blaster?
That was going to be the follow-up.
And
It's the wash rag version.
EOU has a good icon for Towel as well.
Yes, it does.
What does it look like?
So you can launch a file manager from a file manager. It's awesome.
He's speaking of his garbage can.
Oh, okay.
No, I think Nick did the icon for Towel too, didn't you?
Yeah. Towel. I did an icon for
did
Towel
ya?
as well.
Yeah, well, from what Alan told me, and Alan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You like you said, you didn't use multi-view at that time because it wasn't very easy to use, and the documentation was kind of crappy, and plus it was slow back then too. So you didn't know about setting up icons for multi-view or even using the shared environment file that a lot of apps used, right?
Right. I mean, multi-view used so much more memory, and I always had bulletin board running and all this other stuff running. It just wasn't practical. I used my system. I'd have one or two callers on the BBS while I was working on software. So yeah, multi-view just wasn't practical for me, and I just never got into it. Also, I didn't have a mouse. I didn't want to use a mouse. I think I eventually acquired one, but trying to use multi-view with a joystick, it just didn't make sense to me. I was much better with command line.
See, stories like that are cool. We should have more of those. Like you were running it. You had two people online and you were doing something else. That's awesome.
No, we did that too.
I wonder how many people in Commodore world do stuff like that. I don't think you can say that, could you?
Yeah, it was totally different because it was a Commodore buddy of mine that was teaching me how to program in C, and he would call into my BBS and under OS 9, and I gave him shell access so he could drop down to the shell. He would upload his code, see if it compiled on the Microware C compiler, then log off and do some more work. I think he had an Amiga by that point, but he was able to use my Coco as a remote development platform to see what kind of level of C compatibility it had with what he was learning. So he knew what to teach me.
Wow.
That's neat.
Definitely.
Yeah. Actually, Alan, since we got you here, are you still in contact with some of the other people you used to work with at Sabitha?
Yes, quite a few of them. In fact, I just heard from Terry Todd the other day when I told him Shadow BBS got mentioned on last week's episode.
Because I was thinking we should get the entire Sabitha team, or as much as you can, and actually have like a group interview, kind of go through the history of it and all the projects you guys did.
I would love to do that. I'll send a note to Joel and Terry and see if I can round up some of the other folks that we distributed for and see how many of them we could show up. It'd be great if we could also get Carl England. We sold some of his stuff for him in the final years. And, we all shared booths at Coco Fests back in the early 90s. And I'm sure they have some stories that I don't even remember.
Yeah, and Carl's active on Facebook right now, too. So,
well, what's the story on Sabitha? What's the name? What's with the name?
From the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Sabitha was kind of a little catchphrase, the Sabitha Sensomatic, the Sabitha whatever. And so we use that name. But the original name of the company was going to be 42 Technologies. And we have a little mock-up of the ad. I think I've got a scan of it somewhere that we were going to run in Rainbow to launch a thing that let you use 128K or 512K from BASIC just by extending some of the commands. It's what Terry wrote so he could write Shadow BBS. And we were going to launch with that. And then Rainbow offered us a quarter-page 6-issue deal at a really good discount and tried to talk us into going to Rainbow Fest. So we somehow, I don't even remember how, but we came up with a different name. But the original name was 42 Technologies. It was all Douglas Adams Hitchhiker's Guide references everywhere.
If you think of it, post that up on the Coco Facebook page.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll try to post the original the ad and then the ones we ran because I've got all those archived now.
That'd be great.
How big did Sabitha get to be as far as team members and stuff?
We had 3 core members. It was founded by myself and Terry Todd in Texas. And then we met Joel Hegberg at a Coco Fest. He was from Illinois. And we started selling his software. And then he was the first one to get an MM1. So he wrote a word processor and a GUI and other things for the MM1 computer. And so he ran our Midwest OS 9 68,000 division for the MM1 software.
Wow.
So the core group that was on the business cards was the 3 of us. And then we had a couple of other people that we distributed software for them.
So Sabitha can show up on an M11 someday if you find one and bring it up?
Yep, there's a version of TAL. There's a version of the mini banners, multi-line banner printer. Joel Hegberg ported a GUI. He did a word processor. I think he might have done Checkbook Plus. And every now and then I run into some old archives and I find software we sold that he wrote that I didn't even remember we sold. But yeah, it was real easy to port Coco OS 9 stuff to the MM1.
Neat.
Neat.
Yeah, because all the graphics driver display codes were actually based on the Coco version, then extended. So a lot of the stuff was in common.
Yeah, really, it was just you had to deal with the higher resolution and the mouse. The mouse was different, but other than that, it was just a few lines of code difference. And my source code would compile for the color computer, the MM1, and I even made a generic version of my TAL program that ran on any OS 9 system over a terminal using terminal commands and termcap. So I was at Microware, and I could be on our little green screen terminals hooked to an OS 9 machine and still run my software for doing file copies and stuff.
That's cool. Does anybody have an MM1 that we could fire up and have like a show around and get to see OS 9 on
I've
there?
never seen one.
Yeah, tell you what, as soon as I get internet back at home, I will be getting my MM1 set back up, and we'll have to have a session where we just get on one night and we can go through live as I try to get the thing unboxed and try to make it load again. I'm sure that'll be a fun 3 hours of drinking and cussing.
Sounds like me trying to play a video game.
Yeah, 'cause then we can get Eric Critchlow and other people on too, like he did the Gold Runner game for the MM1 and stuff too. So we've had him on before, but we can get him on for a general MM1 session.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
I've got an MM1. Luckily, I was able to back up my hard drive before it died. So, and Eric Critchlow also sent me his masters for his game.
I sent you
the
some
MM1.
stuff too, didn't I? Can't remember. I sent somebody.
Not
It's
me.
Critchlow, actually.
Who?
Critchlow.
Critchlow.
Eric Critchlow.
There's no N.
Anyway, I'm going to have to go run and let some dogs out, so I will try to rejoin if the
All
meeting
right,
is
man.
still going when I get back.
Yeah.
Thanks
for
for your
joining
time.
us,
And I'd
Alan.
love to get that group interview set up with you
Yeah.
guys. That would be awesome.
Yep. I'll see what I can do. Y'all have a good show.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Good
before you move on to the next segment, just
too late.
We just got
go ahead, Stevie.
We
What did
just
you
got
want?
a question in the live chat. Maybe we'll table the question for later, but I just want before I forget it. So Mike Sanicki saying, is anyone familiar with the MC9S12 series of microcontrollers?
I'm not. David, maybe?
No.
MC9 Sierra 12.
I'll bet you
Nope.
Paul
Okay.
Barton might be.
Okay. As of right now, Mike, possibly not, but keep that question out there. They were upward source compatible with the 6809.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Oh, there's Paul. Paul T.
Paul.
Barton is here, too.
Yeah.
Man, you never know who's going to show up on this show.
So, Paul, you have heard of it, you said?
I don't think so. Although it sounds sort of like a TI part.
Okay, MC9S12. Okay. Well,
I
apparently
got
it's
the data sheet for it.
It's upwards compatible with the 6809. All right, well, we'll get back to that, but I just wanted to throw out the question before it got lost in more comments. All right, Curtis, back to the
Okey-dokey.
news.
Back to the news. Okay, next up, we have our weekly Jim Gary update. He has a video of an update to his Christmas 2019 MC10 game, which is basically drop the presents from Santa's sleigh down
that
the
was
chimney
me.
of scrolling houses below. I'm going to mute the sound on this one because I don't know if any of that's copyrighted and I don't want to get dinged.
Okay. I remember watching this video. It was quite good. Oh, this one's okay. Okay, this is different now. He's got all the one I saw, he didn't have all the reindeer on his sleigh.
He
There we
seems
go.
to be having a problem with.
Yes, because I remember
Colon.
I remember like when he got to the end of the run, it said like you're a bad Santa because he didn't get that many things in the chimney. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Paperboy where you have to get the the paper
Yeah, the
in
paper
the
right
mailbox.
into the
yeah.
And you have to get it right on the chimney. You can't just hit the house. Too.
Yeah,
So
there.
it's,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. Just got one then.
Yeah, this one looks better because he's got the reindeer on there. He's even got Rudolph with the red nose, huh? Is this the equivalent of a human centipede with with reindeer?
That got dark awfully quick after dark.
Their noses are awfully close to something else. So,
just snaking around.
Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me.
Time for a commercial.
Yeah, we have the movie trailer for that movie, don't we?
I apologize to all the grandchildren listening.
Yes.
Anyway, it looks like a pretty cool themed game for Christmas here. So
Yeah, it is.
Because
It's
it's
cute.
MC10 basic, it should work on the Coco 2, I'm imagining.
It's not boring at all.
You got
man.
14. You're an okay Santa. Yeah, one of the earlier videos I saw said you're a bad Santa, right? Because he had like 9
Play the theme
packages
song
of
from the movie.
Yeah.
It looks like a cute game though, and it's available on his blog site. So
Yeah,
Christmas
that's to
is
download, try it
over.
out. Feel free.
And that's all in basic. I saw the listing before. So is it
Yep.
Yeah.
no machine code or all basic? Okay.
All basic, I believe.
You're an okay Santa.
Using print screens, obviously, to print commands to get the graphics going quickly.
Yep. Next up, Barry Nelson uploaded a YouTube video showing the speech systems, and those are the guys who made the Composer, Musica, Lyra, Symphony
Yeah.
12, etc. Their Christmas demo from 1984, which included some Coco 1 and 2 Christmas graphics and some 4-part harmony Christmas songs done on the Coco using their own software. And I'd not actually seen this one before, so this was kind of cool for me.
I've been told that my comment was sophomoric by Rob Inman. Xmas Fant.
What?
Ooh, look at that. I like the dithering effects. Do you want to use the high-speed poke? Do you want to use stereo? Look at this, man. We are just...
Yeah, they sold their own stereo pack even before the Orc 90 came out, so...
Try and spell chrysanthemum after
Yeah.
you've had a couple.
Wishing for you all the gladness of Christmas and a wonderful and happy New Year.
I won't play the whole thing, but I'll skip ahead just show a little bit more.
Yeah, that's cute.
Because they did some pretty decent, dithered colors and stuff.
We got some bass in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about that
That
bass.
sounds-
Oh, look at this. The snow coming down in the sky.
Oh, this reminds me of looking outside.
Yes, we have the cross on top of the steeple here. That's very nice.
We need that in here in Australia right now. This week in Adelaide, it's like, mid 40s in temperature in degrees C, which is about 110. So I could do with some snow.
So do you
Looks
guys
like
still
my
sing,
freezer.
still sing Jingle Bells and stuff?
My freezer's -1.
Wow. Cute, cute, cute. Yeah, that's neat.
There's no music.
Peace on earth.
Yep. He's got some music after he wiped the
Oh,
snow out.
Silent Night.
It's a nice demo, and actually it ran on one disc, so you could just fire this up and let it run in the background when you had guests over, and it would run.
Can
for
you
like-
copy and paste the link to this in the live chat? I'm sure some other people would like to watch the full YouTube video.
What's the name of it?
Coco Xmas Demo.
Yeah, by Speech Systems.
And it's on the archive?
I haven't looked to see if it's on the archive or not. I don't know if Barry's
We
uploaded
have
or
to
if it's
reach
already
out
been
to
up
Barry,
there.
see where Barry got it from.
Does it need a sound pack, or can it run on the
No,
standard
it can run.
6-bit
It can
DAC?
run. If you run it on mono, it runs just out of the standard Coco 6-bit DAC, and if you have their stereo pack, and I believe the Orc 90 will run stereo. Oh, I don't know if
Okay.
any of the songs they chose are actually. Well, they must have, because they were asking if you could run stereo,
Yeah.
so maybe they do.
Yeah.
Neat. Neat.
Anyway, the video itself's like 16 minutes of Christmas carols and
That's cool.
animations and stuff. So
That's cool. Absolutely.
That's pretty
Hmm.
Can't get enough Christmas content, especially if it's Coco Christmas content.
And
That
next
should
up,
be
the
on
Amigos were
Roger's
busy.
DVD.
The Amigos were busy this week. The first
Hang
thing
on a
they have
sec.
an
Hang on a
annual. Sorry, what?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Or a comment. See how you have
42.
to hit to change the color there?
Yeah.
Paul, explain to me how that works on the 6847, is it? Paul?
Yep.
Are you there?
Paul T. Barton.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you just briefly tell the guys how you told me how why that happens, or
Oh,
like
the
you explained?
6847 V clock, it triggers on either edge, rising or falling, and it picks that edge when it comes out of reset. So that's why you have to push the reset to get these two different color sets, because it's picking one or the other of the clock edge.
Right, but in reality, you don't. You just need to find out which one it is and offset your graphics by 1 byte if it's not the color you're looking for. In other words, draw a box.
Well, you could do
say,
it that way too. Yeah.
Is this box blue or is this box red? And based on their answer, if it's red and you're expecting red, then you're good. If it's blue and you're expecting red, then you just shift all your graphics by 1 bit, and magically everything works.
Yeah, but that's a pain in the ass. Why should we have to code to the shortcoming of the circuit?
So you're not having people spam the reset button until it flips. It's just one you answer a question.
So Paul, is this kind of like a hardware-based random thing? Because it seems like this is a hardware problem.
It's built into the chip that way.
It randomly selects either the rising or falling edge, whatever probably happens. If it's rising at the time it goes to select, it syncs to the rising edge, and if it's falling at the time it goes to select, then it syncs to the falling edge.
Boy, you guys missed it last night. Last night I was at Paul's house, and we had our little Coco thing. You know, he was showing me his stuff, and he went through and he showed me all kinds of these layouts of Coco stuff. You know, electronics things, and it was just so cool. You missed out, all of you. I was. It was great.
Thanks for rubbing it in, Ron.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
it was all Coco 2 based schematics on fully buffered designs with all kinds of outputs, and it was a super Coco 2. It was all we'd actually built a bunch of them, but it was a long time ago. I was back in the early 80s. So
it was neat.
But it was all 6847 based. And I started out with a 6800 and 6803, and then went to 6809 when they came out.
Yeah, the whole thing with artifact colors too is that the NTSC, the technical thing with NTSC color, the 6847 chip. The NTSC artifact colors are basically a fault with the color system. So when when Motorola were designing those chips, they didn't plan on people utilizing the artifact, the faults basically as a feature for their programs. So when they designed the 6847, all they needed was a clock signal. It didn't matter whether it was on the rising edge or the falling edge, as long as it was accurate. So they never factored in the fact that people will be doing this
until the Coco 3 came along.
Then they planned for it.
Exactly.
All right, guys, real quick. Curtis, it looks like you have many, many more tabs of news to cover, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna run a commercial break because I don't know if Ron Delvaux needs to go, but Stevie Stroh needs to go. So I'm gonna run a commercial break and go potty, and then we'll be back with more fascinating discussions about signals and clocks and rising and falling, you name it. More to come on more CoCoTALK after these words.
Hi everybody, this is Siri, Apple's personal assistant and beatbox professional. You're watching CoCoTALK with the original gamer, Stevie Stroh.
You're off, Siri. I was here first.
We'll return after these announcements.
What's going on, everybody? Stevie Stroh, and I want to say thank you for continuing to watch and listen to CoCoTALK. We love doing this show. We think we put together a pretty good show for you, but this show could be better with your help. So if you would like to send a feedback, a comment, a suggestion, a show topic, or maybe even your own little segment or bumper, then send it to us via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live. This show would be nothing without you. Love to hear from you.
This is Ken Reichert, author of Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
And you're experiencing CoCoTALK?
As you start your journey to Coco Fest, you notice the road ahead is littered with rogue furniture. You realize you are driving on the Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
The game for the Tandy Color Computer 1, 2, and 3. Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
Stunning low-resolution visuals. Digital to analog converted sound. 100% machine language and basic. What are they saying about Nightmare Highway?
Nightmare Highway.
Steve B. York says, of all the games released this year, this is one of them. L. Kurt S. Boyle says, this will not be on my site. Nick Marionette says, crikey, look at the size of that croc. Get your complimentary copy of Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
at cancanmakeit.com. If you got it for free, you paid too much.
Hey there, it's Andrew here with the Tandy speech and sound cartridge that I won from CoCoTALK Live. So next time, make sure to tune in. It may change your life.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Greetings, YouTubers. Atari Leaf here, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
Radio Shack has a great gift idea for the whole family. Fast action TV games, and they're on sale. Get this 6-game model for $29.95 or the 4-game model for $21.95. With rising entertainment costs, that's a real bargain. You play hockey, tennis, squash, and more. Easy to hook up and great family fun that lasts all year long. The sale price TV games. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
And we're back after a brief bathroom break. We are back with all that is important in the world of retro news, thanks to L. Curtis Boyle. Thank you, Curtis.
Okay, so back to the news. We've got a trifecta from the Amigos guys. So they've been busy this last little while. The first one is they do a stream. They have a classic computer club, basically, that meets once a month. And it's pronounced TAYS, T-E-A-Y-S, Valley Classic Computer Club. This last one they did here last Saturday lasted almost 5 hours. They spent a lot of time. They'd gotten some used hardware that they just got in, so they were trying to get it running, and they had some issues with some of it, so it wasn't the smoothest show, but that's the way it happens when you do stuff live, as we well are aware of. So basically, the last part of the thing was they played some gameplay on the Coco, starting about 3 hours and 46 minutes into it.
Give or take.
Yeah. And actually, the one thing they all praise is that the Coco SDC with the SDC Explorer is one of the easiest things to use on any of the retro systems to be able to just launch a game quick.
Ease of use.
Exactly. So, I mean, they were playing Cashman because it's one of the ones they've just recorded the reviews and stuff for. So they give their live, view of the game, and they're actually playing it live and playing head-to-head in Cashman's case too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely a game that's a lot more fun with 2 players than just one.
Did they hit the space bar to see the other color set?
No, they just did the F1 reset trick to get the right artifact color set. But they went through a bunch of games, and they take suggestions from chat too if you're in there when they're doing the live stream. So I suggested like Shark Treasure.
Yeah, this looks like they're pulling us over composite or RF because you can see all the lines in there.
Yeah, it's composite right out of the Coco 3D. So. Now they do have custom joysticks. They have these monster things, with arcade style buttons, etc. But it's quite a lot of fun. I think Nick actually watched a little bit of that one too, if I remember. Nick Marentes.
Yeah.
They also posted the latest episode of the Coco show itself. This one featured Cashman, as I mentioned before, and also featured Rampage. So they kind of gave their reviews, etc. They liked both the games this time, and it kind of accidentally became a multiplayer game because, of course, Rampage allows up to 3 players simultaneously, and Cashman allows 2. So it's fun watching the review. And one of the things, like when we get them on for the interview, one thing I'm going to like talking to them about is the fact that you've got Aaron, who grew up with the Coco as a kid and is quite familiar with a lot of the
I can't hear you over them. Can you mute that?
I can.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Curtis.
Okay, so Aaron and he and even his brother Brent, who co-hosts their classic ARG, which is basically a generic where they pick really obscure systems and try to emulate them or find them or whatever to play games. But they both grew up with the Coco as kids. And then John, of course, he was born after the Coco was actually originally introduced, so he's bringing a different perspective from a more modern gamer. He grew up in the era of Nintendo, etc. So getting the contrasting views is one of the things that actually makes the show quite interesting.
And here's why he's wrong.
Yeah, and of course John has no idea he's talking about Donkey King, but we've already discussed that. So
okay.
And then this just
came out.
Inspector, there's been another killing.
Oh, Amazon has a show about the Coco?
I wish they should. At any rate, they did the live recording. They basically on Fridays they record 3 shows all in a row as one big long stream. Then they break them up into the proper ones.
Okay.
So they have the Amiga show, the Sinclair show, and then the Coco show. It's the Coco show is every 2 weeks normally, but they're kind of rushing a couple in a row here for Christmas holidays. So the upcoming show, and this will be released officially on YouTube, broken out and kind of edited down a little bit. Features Sands of Egypt, and they kind of liked it, though. Aaron's not really into the the adventure games of that style. Oops, I went the wrong way there. And then they did Buzzard Bait.
Oh, best game.
Good game. Okay.
Yeah, and they both really like these too. I still myself prefer Lancer just for the flight stuff on it, but I think both of them would probably disagree with me on that one. And I know there's a few others that like Lancer, but
Well,
I think
let me
most
ask you
people
this:
prefer
is this
Buzzard Bait.
anything like Donkey Kong? This game here.
Only when you get the colors wrong.
Yeah, colors. That would be an interesting project. A modern reimagining of Joust for the Coco with the people who have the skills to make games now, knowing what you know
Transco
now.
because it's 6809 based.
Yeah, or just even not a Transco, but just a new clone, a new take on it. Somebody else making Joust the way they think it should be made.
Yeah, and with Coco 3 graphics.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. And as I talked to Stevie about earlier before the show started too, we've actually finally got a date set where we're going to be interviewing Aaron, John, and Aaron's younger brother, Brent, who used the Coco as a really young kid. We're going to have a group interview with them on, January?
Did you say January 11th or something like that?
Yeah, January 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to get all 3 of them on for a group interview, and we're inviting all you guys to come by to watch, to present questions either on the panel or in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to have come up with some questions ahead of time. I'm going to send them a few ahead of time just so we're got a little bit of preparation for them. But basically, we're just going to wing it.
Yeah, but I got to say, I'm glad that there's more people out there with creating Coco content. You know what I mean?
Yes,
absolutely. So totally agree.
You can look at it a lot of different ways, but the way I look at it is anybody who's doing something that is focusing on the Coco and spotlighting the Coco and creating things for Coco fans to see and enjoy, well, they're doing good work, right? This is the Lord's work here. We're spreading the word of the Coco, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this particular interview will be a nice collaboration because they'll be guesting in our show for a 3-way interview, and then they'll be segueing straight into their classic computer meetings, so they can play some live Coco games, and then some of our audience can stick around and watch them and give them suggestions of games to try and maybe strategies on some of them.
For
or
sure.
Like that too. So
spectacular crossover.
It's a nice sharing of the Coco community.
Is this kind of like
various...
the CW multiverse Battle on 5
Crisis
Universes?
on Infinite Cocos, I think we
yeah.
called it earlier. This big crossover episode.
On a very special Coco talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of, Aaron just joined the chat there too. So
Hey.
hi, Aaron.
How's it going, eh? Yeah, I did. I know Curtis and I have had this discussion, and one of my earlier Coco video showcases was showing off the kind of Joust showcase. So I showed off Buzzard Bait, Lancer, and Pegasus.
Yeah.
I think this one has a nicer visual style to it, but I do feel that Lancer has a more glidey feel to it. You do feel like you're gliding. You do feel like you have momentum. It does feel more organic and less rigid. This one is a very rigid flapping motion and a very rigid moving. You're kind of like jerking through the air, where the other one you feel like you're gliding through the air. So the mechanics to me feel nicer in Lancer, but the look of this is a better looking game.
Yeah, it's interesting between the two because there's better sound effects too, I would say, in Buzzard Bait. The one other thing too, though, the arcade, your characters proportionally to the islands and stuff are a fair bit smaller, and I think Lancer captures that. So you have, like you said, more of the free flying because you're not constantly bumping into things because you're a huge sprite.
Mm-hmm.
But Buzzard Bait, obviously, because the shapes are bigger, they look better. So it's really a toss up, and it really comes down. In my personal case, the flight mechanics is the part that really sells.
It would be great if those two could be married and there was a love child. That would be the perfect Joust.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So,
So that's the thing I liked about Pegasus. When you would turn, it had that 3-dimensional aspect to it, where it would actually rotate the horse to and the horse.
Why is there a biohazard stickers on that box?
This was a fun thing. Aaron's been trying to fix the Coco 2 because the composite mod he was trying to add got busted up. But then Aaron went and got a Coco 3 with 2 meg pre-installed and gifted it to John live on the show, which is what you're watching right now. And he actually said, there was, biohazard material in this thing, and he might have brought the wrong box, but it was basically a big surprise to John. He had no idea this was about to happen.
And this is a Coco 3? Because, I see the
with 2 meg.
Yeah. Oh, wow, cool.
It looks pristine.
Yeah. And John really likes to stream live gameplays because he does those sometimes just during the week spontaneously. He likes to do live streams on the real hardware if it all can. If he doesn't like to have to use an emulator. And he was trying to get this composite mod in the Coco 2 specifically to do that because he doesn't have an RF capture. Mm-hmm. So this will solve that problem, and plus everyone gets to play all the Coco 3 games. So,
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, looking forward to see what he has coming.
It's a very Merry Christmas. It's a Tandy Radio Shack Christmas. Yeah,
he has to play Donkey King, right?
Yeah, I said that's got to be the first
Donkey
game.
King.
Yeah, he's got to play either Donkey King or Donkey Kong Remix. So it's so friggin' hard.
Can you replace the basic ROM with Donkey King so it just comes up?
Yeah, there you go. It boots the
Aaron, do you have
King.
an EEPROM burner? Let's do that. That sounds good.
Okay, so here he's saying that Atari hired the Buzzard Bait guys to program Joust for the Atari ST. So if Atari liked Buzzard Bait that much, there you go.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's true. The Rugby Circle, the guys that did Death Trap, they did Color Caterpillar, and they did Buzzard Bait. They actually were hired by Atari to do the official Joust port for the ST.
Well, honestly, Atari's they were pretty low. Their standards were kind of low.
Yeah, right.
They really were.
Buzzard Bait was awesome, though.
What's next in the news, Al Curtis?
Next up, Henry Reitfeld actually did a couple of interesting videos. Unfortunately, because it's just one person, namely him, he can't show the full extent of what's going on here. But I'm sure you guys have heard of the P-51 attack flight simulator that Tom Mix did, which allowed multiplayer over a modem. So what he did here is he took a Coco 3, which has a special patch version for the Coco 3 of P-51, and then a Coco 1 with P-51, and actually has them connecting.
It's like a null modem cable or something?
No, he actually went through a DCM actual modem.
That is awesome.
Okay.
Huh. Oh.
So for those of you who haven't seen P-51 running here, and he's got it running on both, so now he has to trek over to his other.
Wow, look at all the stuff he's got. Wait a minute. Go back.
Yeah,
oh, look at that.
Hey, Wayne Campbell has joined us.
One. Yeah, early one there.
We have Wayne Campbell in the live chat. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne. Long time no see.
Wow, look at.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Oh
yeah.
And here's the funny thing. I saw Henry at VCF Midwest, and I'm like, man, we'd love to get you on the show. You're doing so many cool things, and he's like, no, I don't really think I do that much. I don't think I need to be on your show. And here we are every week after week, we're showing off something that he does. So the guy who doesn't think he does anything interesting is continuously doing something. So here's Polly Fiscarelli. Yo, how you doing, Polly? Yeah, I know this game. I know you guys have been talking about the game. I don't know that I've ever played it or seen it, but it would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's basically a flight simulator, but you get to shoot each other, and if you connect via modem, you could play across the country, across the world.
Yeah.
And actually play head-to-head battle combat. And this is back from like 1984, I think this came out, 83 maybe.
I love his his lighting scheme around the outside of that. That looks really cool.
Yeah. He was trying to jump between the two Cocos to see if he could fly to the landing strip of the second Coco to see if he could see the plane to shoot him and type thing, but it's kind of hard playing a flight simulator running back and forth with a camera, so he wasn't quite able to accomplish that feat. But we should get a direct connect cable at next Coco Fest here and actually have a head-to-head.
Yeah, cool. Couldn't you do it like, somebody just crashed?
Man.
Anyway, it's really cool, and I agree with you, Steve. We really do need to get Henry on because he's got that Rampage cabinet that he actually had the virtual Coco or MAME or something.
I can only invite somebody so many times. You know what I mean? It's like I asked him in person, I asked him via email, I got the brush off, I emailed him back, I asked for it. So it's like, what am I gonna do?
Time to send the
Try
goons.
this over Coco Wi-Fi.
What happened?
You want me to go talk to him?
Coco Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Over Coco Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, you want me to go talk to him?
Go talk to him. Have lunch with him, Ron. Ron, have lunch.
Got your passport, Ron. You can go have lunch with him.
What the hell, man? What the hell,
he's in
man?
Canada. He's in Ontario, isn't he?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You can come on the show, man.
Yeah, it would be great to have him down there in that basement. Give us a
Offer me
basement
Timmy's
tour.
gift card.
Nick
There you
Marotta,
go.
you're in Ontario too. You can pressure him.
Yeah, I'll give him a Tim Hortons gift card.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't make us have Nick Marotta take you to Tim Hortons.
That's it. That's
two enter,
listen,
one will leave.
I would rather be at Tim Hortons with Nick Marotta than at McDonald's with David Ladd any day.
Aw, you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, he better watch it, or he's going to wake up with a Coco with a missing keyboard in his bed when he wakes up.
Yeah, not to mention when you go for lunch with David Ladd, you end up with root beer all over your truck, don't you? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so this is Chet's latest
trailer
teaser.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who've played the Digger's Christmas preview we did last year, you got to see if you could get far enough, like to level 4 or 5, you could see some of the where you're walking behind vines and stuff here. But this shows a lot of the animations that Chet's added since, and I'm sure Chet's got a ton of surprises that he's not even showing us yet, I presume. Chet?
I'm not going to say anything either way.
Well, if he would tell you there was a surprise, then it wouldn't be a surprise, would it?
Well, he does not tell me what the surprise is. Just acknowledge that, yes, you're going to be stunned.
Okay, Ron, you know what to do. Maybe you need to take Chet for lunch.
So you may or may not be surprised.
A chat with Chet.
Hyper tech.
Oh!
Damn!
Stunning, high resolution visuals. Digital to analog
And
converted
sound.
sound. Yes.
Yep.
100% machine language.
Basic and some machine language.
Yeah.
That video didn't do it. That video didn't do it justice. It actually runs much smoother when you're watching it.
Yeah.
The video live.
Do you have any comments, Chet? Like, have you got a release date kind of picked out yet or anything yet?
Yeah, I mean, the game itself is feature complete. Right now, I'm doing the handling bugs and finishing up the levels and the titles and title scene information, intermissions and stuff like that. So I'm getting all of that stuff cleaned up and all the finishing touches on it. So I'm expecting sometime between Christmas and the middle of January the game will be released.
Is that a Chick-fil-A ad in the background?
No, that's the Super Chicken ad in the background. Did you ever watch Super Chicken as a kid? Great show. Yeah, it's a fantastic show.
No.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's all over YouTube, man. It's the hottest thing these days. You should go watch it.
All right.
Kids love it.
Yeah.
Now, Chet, you're planning on supporting some of the various sound solutions coming out. Are any of those built in, like the speech sound pack off the start or anything? Or
No. That I'm actually holding off on for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is that right now I'm just getting my hardware set up, all my hardware delivered. So I want to make sure that everything like that is tested on real hardware. I'm still I'm getting a 512 keyboard so I can finish the testing now, but I wouldn't have enough time to go through and finish everything, and I don't have emulator support for all of the cards that are available.
Right.
So there are extra steps in dealing with things like the speech and sound cartridge, and of course with that there is some changes that have to occur because it is a cartridge and you do lose the DAC in doing that. So it's one of those things that I have to account for in other sound effects, and there's just not enough time to do those properly.
I'm assuming you also run it. You run at high speed as well. I'm assuming.
Oh yes, absolutely. So
the
it
sound
does
speech pack won't work with that.
Right, so you do have to go down to the to a lower speed with it, but at the same time you're not running anything else that really matters that much, and the weight states are not a tremendous impact. So it's still less than what I'm using for playing the digital audio. It'll still be a huge boost even with the speech and sound cartridge running at normal speed.
Yeah, because right now you're doing about six kilohertz samples. So you're doing 6,000 interrupts per second or something.
Yeah, right now it's 6 kilohertz, and that's going to actually be downsampled to 5120. It actually there's very little difference that I've noticed in the quality of it on the real Coco. So it's saving a little bit of cycles there. So it gives me a little bit of buffer to play around with some extra stuff.
Cool.
So you're saying it will run okay with an unmodified speech sound pack at the 8.897 megahertz?
That's what I'm hoping for. That if I can get it working and integrated in the game working fine, then yeah, that'll be. Otherwise, you'll have to modify it. But looking at eBay these days, it seems like there's an abundance of those coming out. So it's plus nobody really respects that card anyway. So, but yeah, and I do expect some updates like that, because there are some things that I'm working for this, as far as the sound updates and getting as well as my next game for the sound. So I'll have an update for by the fest to support some of that. So if you've got a card or that you're doing or something that you want to promote at the fest, get with me and get me some of the details. Sample code if you've got it, and I'll try to get that worked in as part of the demos that'll be available for it.
Cool. Well, thanks for the update.
Very excited about this one.
I think I speak honestly on behalf of all of us that we're all really looking forward to this.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It really does.
Only $99.99.
And of course, it blows Gunstar out of the water. I'm just kidding, Nick.
Send the money to me directly, and I'll make sure he gets it.
A bargain at any price.
Looks like Poltergeist has a ghost in the G there.
Yeah. Pac-Man ghost is blue. So the Poltergeist screen you're seeing there is actually that Buttons character that did a couple of game videos last week and just started doing them, and seems to be shooting for high scores and stuff here. His new video this week is playing Poltergeist, and I don't think he even got to level 3 on this one. I won't play the video, but it's just it's nice to see another newcomer actually going through some of the old Coco classic games and playing them, and actually trying to get high scores. I mean, that seems to be his purpose, because he actually records his scores even in his notes.
Okay. Well, show us where he got. Just kind of scrape it towards the end, and let's see where we got.
I think he died.
It's like, how can you tell if the colors are wrong in this game? You're supposed to have orange stairs and a blue wall, or blue stairs and an orange wall. And
I always played it with orange stairs myself, but...
Or maybe here's the clue here. Maybe those little spots
bushes
on the house should be
yeah.
bushes, so maybe his colors are wrong, right?
Yeah, it's backwards from what I normally play as.
Well,
looks like Nightmare Highway.
The flashing ghost too, right? So
yeah.
Now let me ask you this screen here.
Nightmare Highway.
This screen where he's running and dodging cars. Is there any other game that had a screen like this, or was this somewhat unique?
Except for that pub game on the Dragon we looked at a while ago. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that did look very similar, didn't it?
I think Ghostbusters had something like that.
I wonder if that came out later. I'm trying to think if this was like groundbreaking for its time,
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no collision avoidance or anything going on here.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just trying to play the game properly, or if he just is unaware of holding the joystick button bug on this first level where none of the cars come out.
Now, the flashing red square, that's the poltergeist itself, right? Now, if you accidentally got hit by that, would you lose a life?
No, it doesn't hit you. You actually have to track it and try to catch it before your 30 seconds is up, but you have to have all the various items
so
first.
you're chasing it, and that's how you get to the staircase, is by chasing it down. It's been so long since I played it. Okay, there's his bonus. Speaking of Ghostbusters, have you seen the trailer for the new one that's coming out next year?
Yes.
With the kids, like the next generation? That looks pretty good.
Yep.
All right. So here we go. Can he make it to the top? This is actually a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie. I did a video on this, and I found it really hard to get up the damn steps.
The third level's super hard, especially when they speed up at the end, and you have to decide at the last second, is that a poltergeist or Marianne? Do I shoot? Do I not?
Let God sort him out.
Is this a Steve York game?
No, this is not a Steve York game.
Robert Arnstein, I think, did this one. But
Steve has joined us, by the way, too. So, but yeah, this is definitely not one of the 3 games that Steve made. which was sarcasm that time I said that.
Yeah, the 3 he made in 1982, maybe, but
July 7th, 1982.
Yeah.
It is a neat game. It was kind of neat because this was at a time when we did not have a lot of officially licensed titles for the Coco 1 and 2. So the fact that we had
we didn't have too many mini games within a game at that point either. Most of the time you played a game, it was the same thing. You just did harder levels or whatever. They added new monsters, but these are 3 completely different types of play combined into one game.
The other thing about Poltergeist is this was the only game that was licensed out for the Coco and no other.
Yeah, uniquely for the Coco.
Yeah.
Why do I remember some story about the fact that Tandy was actually the one that got the license?
I
And
don't
then
know.
then had a programmer do the game. I seem to remember something about that.
Hmm.
Do you know if it was Robert Arnstein that did it?
I don't remember. But it's kind of like the situation with some other products and like that. I mean, Activision, Tandy went got the license, and and I did a few games for Activision, but they were on other ones. But no, Poltergeist was, I think, theirs. A lot of people, there was people looking at the license, but one of the problems was so little development time between when the movie came out, when they decided it'd be a good license, and when it had to be done so it could go in the catalog.
Yeah, and I think you're right too. Like, this was unique in the fact that Tandy got the license directly, because even when they did, Zaxxon Puyan, I mean, that was Datasoft already had the license, and you guys had done them and actually had them on sale for a couple months, I think, before Tandy picked them up, if I remember correctly.
Definitely with Zaxxon, that was the case. The story goes that we came out with Zaxxon, and some big wigs were walking around with the guys from the Coco division at Comdex, which was an old computer show, and we had a booth there. And basically, the bosses were upset that Tandy wasn't selling this. Why aren't we selling this? This should be in our stores. This is the best thing on the cover, blah, 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 blah. And the guys kept on saying, well, they wanted too much money. And finally, they just said, well, then charge more for the game.
Hello.
Yeah, don't charge Chet Simpson prices here.
But that's why, they wouldn't pay our price, because we had licensed the game, and a lot of the money was going into the license. Because back in those days, the video game companies, they were more interested in getting new ideas, new programming, getting people to help them get the games out. They could care less about what money they're going to get from royalties, because they made most of their money off of selling the games to the arcade. The stuff that the computers generated was a pittance. So it was like, the reason why we got Zaxxon is I kind of helped make it a little better.
I'm trying to remember too, because didn't I think Rainbow had published a picture from that Comdex when you guys were showing it off before Tandy licensed it, and it was on like some huge projection screen TV, which is quite rare at the time.
Yeah,
like a 50 or 60 inch.
Yeah, I couldn't go to Comdex at the time. I was busy working on another game, but that's what the stories were coming back from the higher ups. Let's just put it this way: the owner of the company was really happy when the guys at Tandy said, "Okay, we got to have the game."
Yeah, both Poltergeist the movie and the game both were released in 1982, as was E.T. on Atari. And that suffered the same sort of fate that E.T. is famously considered like the worst video game of all time. The guy who programmed it had like 6 weeks to work on it, and it was just one guy.
And he showed off the bosses his basically prototype for the game, nowhere close to being completed. And then they said, sure, fine, let's ship it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a sad situation, but that was the early days of licensing movies into video games. It was like the beginning of that sort of thing going on. It's real common nowadays, and there's a lot more lead time for developers to put the games together, and a lot more collaboration. Back in those days, it was just like, okay, stick a guy in a room and have him write the game.
Well, the owner of Atari was notorious for saying that the programmers were no more important to the game than the guys on the production line putting the game in the box.
Yeah, that's why David Crane went off and started Activision.
Yep, exactly. So it's just and when it came to Datasoft, they finally allowed us to start putting our names on the game, but there could only be one name, because they're worried that if our names were on the game, that other companies would try and steal us away.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that's the reason why. James Guerin worked with me, and his name wouldn't go on the game, so a lot of the games, instead of my name going on it, I said, James, you got to get some credits here. Your name goes on it. And that's
and then there was a few you guys actually, like where you shared credits, like Sands of Egypt. Which
that was the first one because I really fought for that because there was 3 people involved.
Yeah, and I think some of them had different assignments too. Like somebody did all the graphics, for example. And
Well, speaking of video game tie-ins, there was one video game that was being developed while the movie was being developed, and that was Tron. And if you know Tron with the 4 mini games, and one of those mini games being based on the grid bugs, which ended up being a minor part in the screenplay because they had to cut it for budgetary reasons. So there wasn't a lot of grid bug in the movie. Matter of fact, there's only one scene where they're flying across the solar sailor, and she's like, "Oh, look, grid bugs," and you see them pop out of the ground for like 12 seconds. But at the time, the grid bugs were in the script and they were in the book, and so they had made a whole mini game based on grid bugs that never made their way to the movie. But these things were being developed kind of in parallel, so that's a little interesting historical anecdote.
I always wondered why there was a big portion of the game that was, the grid bugs. But like you said, in the movie, it's just like, oh, look, and then it's over.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a little bit more than that. It wasn't just so much budget. It was the fact that was a totally different company doing the grid bugs opposed to the other computer graphics that were in the film.
Right. I think they had 2 different shops that they were using.
Yeah, one in Japan and one in the States.
Yeah, and the problem was the companies didn't have the expensive computers to do it, so it was taking a long time to process the shots for that scene.
Yeah, the whole movie, all the scenes for the movie were done that way.
Yeah, a lot of that wasn't really computer animation. It was actually animated, not through the computer.
Yeah,
and of course they were doing all sorts of video, or I should say, film tricks when they were doing the live action characters. I also remember working with Lomar doing The Last Starfighter because we were getting the rights to Dallas for Dallas Quest at the time. And I popped in there for a little bit of that. And they had a Cray computer, and then they upgraded to a Cray MXP, and all of a sudden they could do a much better job with the computer graphics and do it much faster. So they went back and reshot the entire film again, all the computer graphic parts.
Yeah, for those of you who are interested in the history of the making of Tron, the computer graphics portion, there was an awesome interview with the people actually involved with it in 80 Microbes, which was a TRS-80 magazine by Wayne Green. The August 1982 issue had a huge interview with them. They were talking about sending all the graphics across at 1200 baud modems to Japan and back, and how long it took to process every single frame and stuff. Like, it's a fascinating article.
It was like 45 minutes per frame.
Yeah, it was insane.
24 frames per second in film. So it took, they had a whole farm of computers working on the rendering. And, just a few years later, like Steve was talking about, using the Cray, they were able to do a lot of that same sort of thing all internally within the computer. And
well, render farms are still used now for visual effects. And
they're just a lot faster in processing
graphics.
Yeah. But definitely, if you guys find 80 Micros August 1982, if you're into Tron, go read that article. It's an awesome article.
Very cool.
And that would have been a few years before the Silicon graphics computers came out too, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah.
Many years before.
Yeah, I didn't mean to derail the conversation from what the hell is this title that's on the screen?
Rob's Retro Ramble G's a Job.
GI is a job.
GI is a job. Okay.
Yeah. So
by the way, Curtis, before we move on, there's been some chat from Uno Caraway. So what's going on? What is Uno talking about right now? About somebody knows the author of Poltergeist, or I'm not sure I'm following.
No,
on this right
Uno,
now.
his wife is Buttons, the one that played Poltergeist and did those other videos we showed last week.
Oh, his wife is the Buttons video.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. Hey, Uno, and hey, Mr. Buttons and Mrs. Buttons. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and keep up the good work here. I'll keep
come join
sending
us.
your videos if you keep playing Coco games.
Jump on the Zoom call. Love to have you on. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Anyway, he's been doing a series of these dragon playthroughs with a bit of a humor. So he's got that fancy round TV. So this was a game I've never seen before called GI is a Job for the Dragon. And it looks like it would be an exercise in frustration. I mean, this will make John Schaller, think that Donkey Kong's easy. And it's like I said, it's a unique game. It's just strange.
Okay.
I'm going to fast forward when you remember to zoom up the screen.
For the Dragon 32.
I just love that setup every time I see it.
I know, I love the lava lamps.
And I haven't zoomed in.
Yep.
There you go.
And I love that TV, that dome TV.
You can experience the proper joy
Yeah,
of it.
totally.
I mean, he has got a mustache. Unfortunately,
He's on a bed and there's gremlins on the bookshelf.
Yeah, you have to get acorns and you can't run into things and
something to be trifled.
like if you run into the bedpost, you die.
Right, I've jumped over that.
There he hit the chest of drawers and he died.
All right. Yeah, I need to smack the
Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, in today's episode of Developers We Want to Smack. Wow.
But it's kind of cool because it's got a power gauge for your jump. So how far you jump is how long you hold down the joystick.
Oh, so it's like a trajectory, like the old artillery duel thing.
So walking at the foot of the bed kills you.
Yeah. So I'll fast forward when he actually kind of figured out how to get it going, a bit.
What a pain in the ass. Yeah, I want to bitch slap whoever made this game.
Well, if Stevie played this game, he wouldn't even get to level 0.
Well, he wouldn't have played this long. He would have rage quit a long time before this. So.
Oh, he climbed on the ladder?
Yeah, he just didn't quite jump far enough.
Beyond their means and got themselves beds that were far too big.
And the ladder's gone.
Far too big, and you couldn't get up in the morning.
So you don't want to fall down.
Why did that kill me?
Why did that kill me?
I love this guy's reviews. They're awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. See, he landed on it. Now, what's underneath the bed there?
A Band-Aid for healing, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's something you catch. It's like a power up for your life.
I believe so. I don't think he figured that out though.
Yeah, the Band-Aid kind of moves around randomly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I wonder how you actually get under the bed because the posts are in the way.
Yeah.
Right. Why does the acorn kill me?
You can't.
The acorn is supposed to help me. I don't know what the plaster is for. Oh, that's possibly a bit much. Yes, I've jumped into my own sideboard and killed myself.
I love it.
Whoever jumped into
That's
a
cool.
sideboard.
Yeah, his videos are well worth watch because they're entertaining in and of themselves. Never mind the game he's
Yeah.
playing. His
I've jumped into
presentation
my
is
own
quite good.
sideboard and killed myself.
It's especially frustrating when he did that,
yeah.
where he accidentally put the joystick a bit to the left, so he jumped diagonally.
That's going to
Killed
hurt
himself
like
again.
the Dickens.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, this shows that nobody
Too close there.
can get to level 2. So this would be a good game for Stevie because there's nobody out there
Instructions while I'm up here.
can get beyond
Just
what
put
you would
the
get to.
joystick Upwards. Uh-huh.
Press. What does it say?
Okay.
Press upwards.
Let's try this.
Yeah, there you can headbutt your opponent.
Right.
Ah.
It only
There
took
we
him
go.
10 minutes
Oh,
to
he got
figure that out.
that.
Now I'm
Okay.
gonna
You got the. I see. You got to get. There's a band-aid then, yeah.
And then he
What the
headbutted the
hell?
ground and killed himself.
Then he walked off the
And I
edge.
still only got 120 points.
Wow. Talk about frustrating,
Right, well,
huh?
now we know how to
Do you
attack.
remember that game? I can't remember. It was one where there's so many ways to die. Like we were all laughing about it a year ago. That guy in Mexico recorded. And he was swearing in
Oh yeah, yeah.
Spanish
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
This
what-
reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Swearing in Spanish.
Yeah, some
I downloaded that game. and
dumb
tried
ways to die. That was the name of the game.
Well, this was kind of like a Mario-esque
means
type game he
I
was
died
playing.
'cause
I think.
headbutted the floor.
Yeah. Would you say, Alan? You tried it?
Yeah, I found it. I found the name of the game. It's in the App Store for iOS. It's called like Impossible Adventure or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Mario World clone, but
Damn
it's
it.
like evil.
Yeah, but every
That's
time
why
you
I'm
think you
dead.
do something right, a spike suddenly falls and kills you.
Yeah.
So you have to memorize all these different weird things that happen. And the guy was getting so frustrated; it was just hilarious.
Does he clear a level?
And all the way up there.
Nope.
Oh,
Unfair Mario. It's something like that, Ken. Unfair Mario, yeah. And that's one's so it's called GI's a Job, huh?
Yeah, I've never even heard of that one.
Wow.
Before.
Yeah, it is painful.
Nothing like picking a name that goes right with it.
Yeah.
somebody in chat is suggesting that that's a Scottish way of saying "give us a job."
Oh, okay.
Oh no, and I still only get.
Oh, that could be.
120. So I'm going to knock it on the head there, if you'll pardon the phrase. There might be other screens after that, if you can work out how to. Will you?
Anyway, that'd be a fun one. I'm gonna have to see if I can find it on the Dragon if it needs any
Yeah.
conversion to the Coco and throw it on. See if any one of us can win it.
That's a David Ladd kind of game too, maybe. Really?
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 Yeah, I could see that. That would work.
Ken's asking if GI, does that stand for gastrointestinal? So
after you play for an hour, I'm sure it does.
It's certainly invoking some feelings of flatulence.
Gives you the gastrointestinals.
Yeah.
And here, the next one is a meeting of the minds between David O'Connor and Bryza, alias Brian,
and the cat,
and
Neo the cat.
rather than me read the whole
cat.
thing out, since we actually have David on the call, David, do you want to explain exactly what was going on here, what happened, how
Zoom
you guys
in
met
on
up,
the
and why?
photo. Zoom in on the photo a little bit there, El Curtis.
Yeah, basically, Bryzo actually sent me the Coco 3 that I've got here that I've been using. So we've been sort of in touch for a little while and just sharing things backwards and forwards and discussing ideas and updates and whatnot. And he recently had to make a trip here to Adelaide. And so we thought it would be a great opportunity just to catch up in person and actually finally meet. And he's got, as you can see, he's got on his lap there, he's got his Coco 3. And my Coco 3 is sitting on top of the Sony monitor there. And he wanted to put in a socket into so he could change the 6809 and put a 6309 in. So I said, yeah, no worries, bring it with you, and we'll get my professional vacuum solder pump out, and we'll pull the socket out and pull the 6809 in and out. Let me try that again, and put a socket in and put the 6309 in, and it should be a quick, pretty straightforward job, which it normally is. It was in mine, straightforward, pulled it out, put the new socket in, 6309, away it went. So anyway, we stuck it up on my workbench, and I got to work with the desoldering station, and successfully removed the 6809, soldered in the socket, whacked in the 6309, powered it up, and we got a screen full of junk. And it's like, oh, you're kidding me. There you go, a bit of Aussie language there.
Is there a hammer involved?
Graham's not here.
Yeah, we were thinking about being a hammer out, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, we had this a screen full of garbage, and I thought, oh, that's not good. And meanwhile, Bryce has come down. You know, he's got his Coco with him, and I've offered to help him out, and I've just gone and destroyed his computer. And I thought, this is really not a really good introduction. So I thought, well, obviously there's a reason for this. So we thought, well, maybe the 6309 was dead. So I had one of my Coco ones here, and we ripped out the CPU out of that and put the 6309 in that, switched it on, and garbled screen. And I thought, oh, okay, so it looks like the 6309 is no good. Being a CMOS chip, they're more sensitive to static, so it's quite on the cards. So I thought, oh, well, we'll stick the 6809 back and see if see if everything's all good. And I put the 6809 back in, and we switched it on, and screen full of garbage. And I thought, oh, no, what now? And so I thought, well, it's got to be something to do with the with putting the socket in. Maybe there's, something's gone pear-shaped. I double-checked and triple-checked my soldering to make sure there was no bridges beforehand. So I thought, well, I'll just check it again and just have a look. And everything looked all right there. So I thought, oh, well, I'll start doing some continuity checks and just see whether there's any traces of gone pear-shaped on this motherboard. So I got out my fluke meter and started tracing around, and sure enough, I found a trace that on the other side of the board to what I'd been soldering had gone open circuit. And I thought, oh, well, that's kind of odd. So anyway, I got a wire link, and I bridged that, and we switched it back on, and I got a different screen of garbage. And I thought, oh, no, what now? And here's Bryza looking all the time. I've offered to help him out, give him a hand as a mate and all the rest of it. And here's his computer sitting on my workbench not working. And so I thought, no, there's got to be, I found one open circuit track, maybe there's something else. You keep in mind too, that obviously these boards are like, the Coco 3, it's 35 years old or whatever, 34 years old. And they're fragile boards. And no matter how careful you are with a soldering iron, no matter how good the tools are, professional tools and all the rest of it, it is still possible for things to go wrong with these old boards. So that's why I suggest that if anyone wants to add a socket, don't do it if you don't know what you're doing with a soldering iron. And this is a proof here that I've been working with electronics for 40 years. So I know what I'm doing with the soldering iron. So anyway, I continued my continuity checks, and sure enough, I found another trace that was open once again on the other side of the board to what I was actually soldering on, which was kind of bizarre. So we dug out some wire links and soldered on another wire link and put the 6809 back in, turned it on, and up she came, all working. And much to my relief, I thought, well, that's a huge relief. So, and Bryza had a big smile on his face. You can see in the photo there was, but he had that kind of smile on his face when it come up again, and yeah, he was happy with that. And but yeah, the 6309 that he had was dead, and I didn't have a spare one here. But he's planning on putting a Gimme X in it, and also a Boysen Tech 2 meg upgrade, RAM upgrade. And the 2 meg RAM upgrade comes with the DAT board and the 6309 processor. So he's now gone away with a Coco 3 with a socket in it, and he can swap over the microprocessor anytime. But he had another little fault where the artifact colors were a little bit weird, but he said it was doing that before he brought it here. So he said that wasn't anything that we'd done. So.
And for the most part, his artifact colors look to be working okay. He's posted some screenshots on Facebook of like Donkey King and some other things. I think it was just Bugs 2 was a little weird.
You mentioned there was something to do with the PAL daughter board, and you did something with that fixed it, right?
Oh, that was a different Coco. This is NTSC. Yeah, this is an NTSC Coco 3 that he's got here,
okay.
And he's got another PAL PAL Coco 3 that had that fault. And that was the daughter board. And I suggested to him, I said, look, try wiggling it, pull it out, reset it, and push it back into the socket. And when he did that, it all come up and worked. So,
okay.
We had a little mini Coco meetup and
awesome.
met in person for the first time. It was pretty cool.
Bryza.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we're starting to reach critical mass in Australia. You guys are going to have your own Coco Fest.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about that very thing when he was here.
Aussie Fest, yeah.
Yeah, he's into the idea, and I'm into the idea. We're just
you can meet at Irish Rock or something like that. Oh wait,
start a podcast too, the Aussie Coco podcast.
Crikey,
come.
I love it.
It's Crikey Fest.
Look at the size of that fest.
I'm glad it turned out that you got it fixed, and then obviously Bryza looks pretty happy in that photo. So
yeah, I tell you what, for a little while there, I was thinking, oh no, what have I done? I've offered to help him out.
We just about had the photo of him holding an axe over your head instead there for wrecking his Coco. So
yeah, yeah, it wasn't far off. I was sitting there thinking, oh no, what am I going to do now? This poor guy's come down all the way from Broken Hill, which is interstate and all the rest of it, and come down with his Coco, and he's going to take it home broken. I thought, no, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to fix this no matter what it takes.
Now, were you under a time limit on this too? Like he had to leave by a certain time, or?
Yes, yeah, he had to leave the next day. So he
had 24 hours to fix this.
Oh, not only that, I had like 2 hours to fix it because that was that night time, and he was leaving the next morning. So, so I had to fix it there and then on the spot. And I thought, this is so. Once again, the professional tools come into play there, and experience, to find. Not only find the broken traces, which didn't look physically broken at all. You look at the other side of the board; they look perfect. And so, to an untrained eye, you'd think, no, that's all right, that's all right, that's all right.
You had to trace the traces.
Yeah, you have to use a continuity meter, and I also have a blank or partially blank Coco 3 board that I can use as a guide when something like that happens.
Yeah, for sure. And that was another thing we looked at too. I tried to download a decent scan of the Coco 3 motherboard, and I couldn't find one. I found a manual and everything, but the scan in it of the actual board itself was pretty ordinary. So once again, too, the other thing with doing a continuity test, if you use an ordinary multimeter, sometimes they've got a voltage across the probes, and if you're continuity checking between 2 points, and you apply a voltage across the wrong 2 points, you can actually do more damage. Fortunately, I've got a high-end Fluke 289 top-of-the-range multimeter here, $1,500 worth, but it's worth every cent. And that has a special continuity range that has a high impedance where you can do tests without doing damage to the circuit.
Right.
So I was able to use that on it to trace things around and get the thing working again. It ended up good.
I had the a similar situation at CoCoFest when I did a upgrade, and this was like the 14th upgrade I did that day, and I was like really tired and turned it on and it didn't work, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to frantically get it working, and all of a sudden here comes a crowd of people looking on me trying to fix this thing. And I was like, oh yeah, great, pressure's on.
Yep. Pressure in real time.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I don't do hardware. I would just kill myself or something.
Did you try plugging the multi-pack in the multi-pack?
Yeah, I did.
And that is a day that shall live in infamy on this show forever. That was awesome.
It was a bit of fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's great to get those little meetups when you can.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
It's fun doing these shows like this where we're shared on a panel. We got the chat room going. We got live people on the panel, but meeting in person is just a whole other level of fun. Except
Absolutely,
with David Ladd, because he's a little bit too over exuberant. But he's just kind of scary in a good way.
Very cool.
Okay, the next story here, I'm going to briefly shut off the sharing because I want to show you the magazine it came from. So can you zoom me up there, Stevie? So
can I zoom you up? Hold on 1 second. Let's
just my camera.
Spotlight.
Zoom me up,
Curtis.
Scotty.
We have spotlighted L. Curtis.
Okay, as you know, we had a lot of Coco dedicated magazines over the years. We had Hot Coco, Color Computer News, Color Computer Magazine, Rainbow, and a bunch of other smaller ones. This is one of the smaller ones that ran for a few years, called Spectrogram, and I picked this up. Whoops, I picked this up at Coco Fest in '87, I think it was. So this wasn't too long after the Coco 3 came out, and it was a fairly decently done one. This particular issue here, which is from their second year, was 84 pages, so it wasn't small. And it's the only issue of this I have, and I noticed there's none of these in the archive, so I will eventually scan this one copy that I have in to put it on the archive. But if anybody else has any of the rest of them, then please do the same so we can get them archived. But I'd done quite a while ago. I'd scanned in this one game in here called Autobahn, which is a Coco 1 and 2 game using a higher semi-graphics mode. That was all basically data statements. And I never did type it in when I bought the magazine because I've done that once before, typing in pages and pages of data statements, and you almost always make a mistake, and it's a pain in the ass. So I had gotten some OCR software I wanted to test from doing live, JPEG scans or PNG scans or TIFF scans. So I had this scanned in, and I actually got a little bit of time yesterday to actually try the OCR software, and it actually did a pretty decent job. I think I had maybe about 20 corrections I had to do, and there was 2 that took a little bit longer because they were kind of subtle. And I actually ran the program and it would crash, and then I was tracing it through with MAME, and then I'd figured out, oh, that 0C should be a C0 type of thing, because it was misinterpreting some zeros as O's. When it was reading data, it was trying to read like a hex C0, and it came up with C, etc. So anyway, I got it working, and so that's mentioned here on the cover, right here, Autobahn.
Is this like the current version precursor to Nightmare Highway by any chance?
Kind of. It is a Nightmare Highway, believe me. So anyway,
Kraftwerk in my head now.
It's a difficult game. A couple of you have seen it from last night when I finally got it working and had a couple people test it. I won't be playing the live game. You guys can try, but it's very, very fast paced. I'll give you one trick. Like basically the summary of the instructions, and it'll be on the archive soon. It's on my website right now if you want to download it, including I typed in the instructions from the magazine. But basically you're on the Autobahn and your gas pedal gets stuck as the premise. And then you have to try to dodge cars, and you got 3 lanes, and you instantly jump between them. It's like those LED games, if you remember those.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were cool.
But basically you have to try to avoid hitting the colored cars, and then there's this pure white special car that if you collide with it, you get bonus points. And if you get a high enough score every 10,000 meters, 10 kilometers, then you get another 10 kilometers added on that you can race. And if you keep getting these scores of 5,000 per 10, you can keep going. I've never gotten anywhere close to that. So at any rate, I will do the screen sharing again. I'll just show you the entry on my website.
Well, looks like you have Barbie headset on.
Actually, they're Air Canada headphones. My old headphones finally died. I've had these sitting in the drawer for like 15, 20 years, never used them. They're still sealed in the bag. And I didn't get time to go run out and buy new ones. So I just quickly grabbed them, and they're working, but they're kind of crappy. You guys kind of sound fuzzy and muddled in here. They're cheap things they give you for free on the airport.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, this is the screenshots of the game. So the two intro screens there, it's written by a guy named Craig Rockschmidt, and I think he did one or two commercial things later too. But it's one of those, rare semi-graphics games. I think it's using semi-graphics 8. I think, Nick Marentes, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we figured
12,
out 12,
I think it was.
Was it 8 or 12? Okay. But you can see the screenshot there, and it's very fast. Your car moving left to right jumps instantly into the lane, but the cars that are coming down towards you are scrolling a bit more smooth. But it's a pretty intense game. The one little cheat I'll mention is if you hammer on the joystick button while playing, it acts like a mini brake and slows the game down enough that you can kind of at least try to control it, which helps a lot. So it can become a button masher doing that. Any thoughts of the game yourself, Nick? Because you're one of the few others that's actually played it.
It was very fast.
Crikey!
Yeah, don't do the double speed poke. I will not be doing a 609 optimized version of this one. It's
no.
Awesome.
A lot of colors.
Yeah, well, it's a semi-graphic, so it's got all 9 colors on the screen. The color of the cars is randomly chosen, except for the special ones. But it's a nice little game. It's also got this constant droning car sound, which if you hit the brake key, you can shut off, and then just the effects of hitting the cars, sound effects will play. So, but I don't think many people saw this because Spectrogram wasn't a hugely popular magazine back in the day. It was popular enough that it kept going for a few years, but I don't think a lot of people have seen this game. So it's kind of a new one. I checked the archives, not on there, so I sent it to them. It should be uploaded there later in the week. So, brand new game for most of us.
Neat.
The cars just jump between the 3 lanes. You can't actually just drive over there. It just jumps between the 3 positions. So it's a little bit, it would be nice to see a game like this actually scrolling left and right smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think mixing the colors of the highway dashes would be hard though in a semi-graphics mode because you can't mix yellow with whatever color you're doing.
Yeah, pixels going all over the place.
Anyway, down on the bottom there's the download link. It contains a text file that explains. I actually basically typed in most of the article itself, except for the bit about the basic program to do the loading, because I did leave the basic program on there so you could see what would have had to been typed in, and thank God for OCR because I didn't have to. Basically, just load them in exec and away you go.
Neat.
It'd be good to see what other programs this programmer did later after this, because I mean, this was a pretty good attempt for a first, program, say.
Yeah, the sound effects actually were pretty good and stuff, and the graphics are fast. And
so I'd be curious to know what he did afterwards.
And the actual code itself, like he didn't have the source code published in the magazine. Unfortunately, he said it was too long for the magazine. But the complete assembled code is slightly under 2K, so it's not even that big of a game.
Oh, wow.
Neat.
Anyway, if you guys want to try out over the week here, and then you can kind of give us some feedback next week, it'd be kind of cool to see what you guys think of it.
I didn't know Jim Morrison made video games too.
Oh, I was just going to say that, Steve. You beat me to it.
Well, he didn't really die. He had to have something to do.
Yeah.
I think Curtis just gave us homework.
I did.
Curtis gave us homework.
I think the same thing happened with Elvis when he died. He just became a Coco programmer. He's just
Okay, and
pterodactyl.
The last batch of stuff here is PetSass Jim 1, who we've been covering all of his dragon videos that he's been doing. Once again, I've skipped a few that are fairly common with other ones, a lot of the adventure games and stuff, because they basically look all the same. One or two of these he didn't quite figure out how to play. I don't know if that's a problem with the copy that he had, or if he just didn't figure out how to play it physically. Some of these are a little bit short. But I thought I'd go through the ones he put out this week, and he might have put up some today that I've missed because I was away this morning. So the first one's Pterodactyl. Use arrow keys to move, destroy eggs, space to start. Yeah, of course. I didn't get a chance to do the pop-up ad blocker.
Okay, who is who? Are you the person?
Yes.
That's the person.
Yep, and you got to destroy the eggs.
And you destroy them by running in that direction and shooting at them?
Yep, and then they hatch into birds that fly after you.
Did he just die?
To him there.
Good sound effects. So that cat meowing sounded really realistic.
Okay, there's a pterodactyl now chasing after him. And he's got 2 pterodactyls. Okay. Can you shoot the pterodactyl? They're dropping more eggs now too.
They're giving birth.
Okay, and when you shoot them, they turn back into eggs. So it's just like a timer-based thing. Each one of those eggs will eventually hatch. Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting game.
Yeah, interesting.
Not one I'd seen before.
No. Red
Next up,
Meanies.
Red Meanies. Now, this one, he had very brief gameplay. I think it's because he couldn't quite figure out the controls. He did figure out how to move forward, but basically it's a 3D Pac-Man.
Weren't
Kinda
those
like 3D
the
Ghost
guys
on the
in the
Coco?
Yellow Submarine cartoon? Weren't they the Blue Meanies?
Yeah, Blue Meanies.
Yeah,
The
Magic,
Beatles movie,
Magic
yeah,
Mushies.
Beatles cartoon.
Red Meanies. Let's see it, L. Curtis.
They're even more magic.
Oh, this I like.
Like I said, it looks like he didn't quite figure out the controls, or maybe there was a bug in the program. He did manage to figure out how to move forward, as you'll see here. Eat the dots. And you can tell it's definitely meant to be Pac-Man because you have spare Pac-Man up in the upper right.
Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, right. 3D Pac-Man. That's cool.
Use of
Close.
green.
Okay.
No, it's not like Pac Dude Monster Maze, not up at that level. It was pretty good
So
for a
far,
Coco
the
1 and 2 level
gameplay
game.
is riveting.
Yeah, like I said, I think he was having problems.
Oh, he's finally started moving. Okay.
Like
Yeah, but he never did
first-person
figure out how to
Pac-Man.
turn, so
This is a new game from the Coco. It's called Watching Paint Dry.
I know it's watching dots flicker. That's what it is.
This is Nightmare Hallway.
Nightmare Hallway. Nightmare Hallway.
Nightmare Hallway.
That's good.
Good
I
stuff.
like that. We're gonna have to make a game based on that now.
Nightmare Hallway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next one up is Pettigrew's Diary, which is a detective game, and it's graphical, and it's in BASIC, but it's actually a fairly interesting presentation. Now I've got a little note here to fast forward once the tape warning displays because it has this long grating sound. So I'll just play a little bit and then I'll fast forward it.
It's like, stop the tape. Stop the
I don't know if that
sound.
meant it had to load stuff in afterwards or what exactly that one.
Chapter 1, The Burning Farmhouse.
You can hear that old play command. type
Digital
sound.
to analog converted sound. Oxfordshire countryside when suddenly you smell burning. A farmhouse is on fire. You go to investigate. You walk slowly through the front door. Oh, graphical.
With that open.
Oh, wow. Now this is
Yep.
the fire.
The
that's
red's the fire,
continuing to
the
spread?
blue is you. You get to wander through the rooms and you get
Okay.
objects.
That looks like there's a person laying down there, yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, so you got to rescue the person
Rescue
before
the
it burns
person?
down.
Yeah, I don't know if he figured that out when he was playing it or not.
Bird's eye view of downstairs. Location and object.
Some of your commands have got built-in help built in the bottom too, which helps.
Examine open take. Okay.
Open take, is that where you steal their wallet?
Yes. Look like the fire is blocking him.
Yeah, the fire's spreading, blocked him off. So
He's
it looks like
getting,
a pretty interesting take of a game here. I've never seen anything
Yes.
quite like it on the Coco before.
Yes.
So
I've never been able to say that I've been fire blocked before. So.
No, me either.
not even in Firecopter?
Open the door. Open it. Open it. Okay. Really interesting.
Trying to remember if he actually got further than this. Or...
Wonder if he can cut through that hole between the fire.
You've managed to salvage what? Nothing. But I'll play you a song anyways. All right, so.
Anyway,
Okay.
it looks like an interesting game. If you have the directions and knew exactly what you were doing, I think it'd actually be pretty
yeah,
fascinating.
Interesting. I love to see these different takes on the classic adventure genre.
Yeah.
Ruby Roba.
Yeah, Ruby Raba. At first glance, when I first saw the screen come up, like the actual gameplay screen, I thought it was a Pango clone. It's not.
But wait, there's more. Wait, Nick Dyson. Is that the guy who makes the vacuums?
You just beat me to it again, Stevie.
If it is a vacuum, it sucks.
Oh, boom, boom.
Special precious ruby by breaking the complex defense system guarding it. Rows and columns of blocks can be pushed bidirectionally.
Yeah, so you move this point around the outside of the grid, kind of like Neutroid style. And then you start shoving stuff, and you can't do them if they're blocked. fast forward past the rest of the directions here.
Yeah, get to the game.
Yeah, who reads directions?
Yeah, directions are for losers. Oh, yeah, this does look very Pengo-ish. But
You
it's
see
not.
moving that little blue and yellow thing
Yes,
around.
yeah, kind of Neutroid-ish now. Angles. X and Y axes are involved here.
I'm imagining from the way he's moving around so fast, this probably doesn't need an analog stick because it probably reads a 64 by 64 position to pick exactly where you are so you can instantly jump. So I don't think this one would work well with digital sticks.
And there's different symbols in some of the blocks. So some of them have like a gun or a question mark, or it could be a flower or an alien for all I know. What's going
Or
on
the
there?
red ruby in the lower
Yeah, there's
corner.
the red ruby, yeah.
So what's the aim here? What are we trying to achieve?
Well, if we read directions, we would know that, but it already told me to fast forward.
Yeah. I don't think the guy playing the game is reading the directions either, based on how he plays them.
No, probably not. But it does look like a pretty good strategy with some arcade elements mixed type of game. So.
Yeah, all right, so he crushed the skull.
Hey, speaking of strategy games, has anybody ever done a Stratego type game?
I haven't. That's neat.
Yeah, interesting looking game.
Yeah. I like the skull and crossbones.
Row 4 is like Connect 4. It's a little base program in low res.
Do you want instructions? No, fast forward past that crap.
We don't want ads either.
100% machine language and basic.
And basic.
Who was player one?
Morrison. Oh.
Orange and magenta. And this is row of 4, but I am checking for a wiener. Oh, this is dropping them down. Oh, I see. They're dropping it down into Connect 4. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, I was getting confused at first, but yes. I'm checking for a winner. Now, if Orange was smart, he would block the purple guy, but no, he's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. We got 4 in a row. I'm checking for a winner.
Yep.
There you
This
go.
is AU. It's artificial unintelligence.
Yes. Okay. There we go. It's Connect 4 though. That's cool. We get it.
Yep. Nice little basic
It's
game.
AS,
Google.
artificial stupidity.
I don't know.
Is this a
Coco
Coco
stupid
game?
ad? No, that's some
that-
stupid ad.
That looked really good.
Yeah.
Starship presents a rollerball. Is this an Italian
Yeah, this one I'd
game?
never heard of before either.
This is Italian. Hey, you, I'm going to roll the ball. Yes. All right, so roll a ball. Okay.
And keyboard based.
Oh, it's kind of 3D.
3D.
3D monster. What is that?
Kind of reminds me of Marble Maze.
Marble Maze. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Very fast. So, what is the object here? To get the O's or the X's?
Sure, I have no idea. This was one of the last ones I added, and I didn't get a chance to actually.
Okay. Like
go
he's
through too
obviously
closely.
you're avoiding the spastic cube that's going all over the place, but do you
Spastic
have
cube.
to get
That should be the name of a game too. Spastic Cube.
Yeah.
Spastic Cube. Yeah, that's a good name for a game.
All right, so he's touched all those things and nothing's happened. Okay, now he's becoming
Getting frustrated now.
spastic sphere. Okay.
Yeah, some of these he didn't figure out how to play either.
Okay,
So.
there you go.
And next, then, last one today is Ring of Darkness.
Ring of Darkness.
Games this year. This is
one of them.
I actually had Save Game, which is kind of cool for 1982. Set up a new character. We'll skip all that stuff.
You should have these things queued up by now, Curtis. A professional news person would do that.
I did have them queued up. I just wanted you to suffer.
Oh, mission accomplished. Okay, so this is a kind of a Stratego-looking map.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Ultima style thing, but with much smaller icons and stuff. Plus your commands you enter in the bottom there too. So Kind of an adventure, graphical adventure game.
Oh, run. Ready. Which item? Is this in basic?
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty cool then.
Yeah, especially for 1982. I mean, that's fairly early on to do something this, technically advanced.
Hmm.
I love the annoying sound it makes with each key press.
You want me to turn it up for you?
How annoying can this game get? How many times can you type? Oh,
don't answer yet.
Ben Drake says there's some first-person dungeon crawling elements to this. We just haven't
Oh,
found
okay.
it.
He didn't get that far in this video, so.
Yeah. So, what the hell are you typing out here, dude? Samantha
no idea.
All right. All right, Curtis.
Looks Polish.
I'm ready to shoot
Anyway,
myself.
that's it for the news for this week.
Oh, thank God. I just unplugged my headset. I can't hear.
Oops.
All right. Very, very cool. All right, let's do this real quick. Let's use our news intro as our outro too. All right, everybody. And thank you to L. Curtis Boyle for bringing us news from around the world. All right. Very cool. And thank you, Rob Inman, for that piece right there. Cool stuff.
And thanks for everybody for derailing all the news items, so it took hours to do. That was awesome.
That's our job.
That's our job.
Most welcome.
that is true. Yeah. Actually, I liked having the side segues because then we get to talk about stuff I wouldn't have thought of. So I'm fine with it.
Very, very cool. All right, we're going to take another commercial break, and we'll be back after these words.
We will return after these messages.
Hi, I'm Terry Steen, author of Balloon Fire and other amazing games on the color computer. And you're listening to Stevie Stroh on CoCoTALK.
At GSoft, we make games for the TRS-80 color computer, TRS-80 MC10, and Dragon computers. Our basic games cover the range of genres from arcade, to text adventures, to simulations, to 3D dungeon crawls. This is our latest puzzle game from Japan, Fruit Panic. So come on and drop by our website and download our latest games.
My fellow Americans, Australians, Canadians, Europeans, and all of you ands, I'm calling on all y'all to help us make the world great again by visiting the Retro Swag Shop at 8bit256.com, where you can get yourself a coffee mug like this with a little cute cartoon character that says, I'm a cocoa nut. You could also get yourself a coffee mug like this with a Color Computer 3 that says, I'm a cocoa nut. You could get yourself a deluxe travel mug like this with the CoCoTALK logo on it. You might even be able to get yourself a DVD like this with over 2 hours of gameplay goodness. It is time for us to rise up and make the world great again by enjoying some quality retro merchandise and Coco nostalgia. So please visit 8bit256.com and let's make the world great for the color computer. Thank you very much.
CoCo2's got personality, lots of practicality, fun, it's sensational, learn it's educational. CoCo2's expandable, so easily commendable. It's programmable, so term exam grammable. Just you and CoCo2 do what you want to do.
CoCo2, the color computer with personality from Radio Shack. Sale price for Christmas giving from $149.95.
Radio Shack's CoCo2, do what you want to do. Just you and CoCo2.
CoCoTALK is brought to you in part by Placeblex Dietary Supplement. Placeblex, we think it works, so will you. Tired of switching your joystick between the left and right port? Want to change between different controllers? Well, Joey has got you covered. The Joey Controller Switch. Take control of your controllers with the flip of 2 switches. Order today at cocoman.biz.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tim. Playing Daggerith like that idiot from the book. You're watching CoCoTALK.
And we're back. All right. So we got all kinds of people here. I've just been told this just in from my producer in the booth. We have Richard Lorbieski wants to show something off. Is that true, Richard?
Yes. Actually, I've been working on it and got it finished last night, and it's now being produced, and I should hopefully get the boards next week or two because of the Christmas holidays and stuff. This is actually an interim of the development of the Paragon Deluxe adapter. One of the things features I wanted to add was to do wireless, add wireless to this adapter. And so anyway, I finally figured it out, but I also did a quick and dirty way of doing it. Let me just share the screen here. And that's what it is right there.
Okay. I have no idea what the hell I'm looking at, but
okay.
It looks kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yes, one-dimensional. No, what I did is I added the ability. The thing about these wireless joystick adapters, and I'm going to have to forgive me about this because I haven't.
You came on to CoCoTALK unprepared. Well, you're just fitting with the rest of us. Keep on.
I was prepared, but I just don't do these things like all the time. Let me go ahead and change the view here. Let's go top part, and that's a little bit clearer there. But I'm going to do the bottom part here. Is what I did is I added a 5-volt source.
We're not seeing anything.
Yeah, we're just seeing your background of a chip.
Oh, wrong one. Okay.
Yeah, nothing changed.
Let's do that. Okay, so we got that, and
we're looking at a Sega.
Yeah, looking at the Sega adapter. Anyway, my new joystick adapters will work with this right here. You see on the screen, the 8-bit do 320 wireless adapters.
Okay.
So yeah, that's basically what I've done. Is I've actually modified the original Paragon adapters to work with this.
Okay, so this would not have worked on a previous Coco digital to analog conversion.
No.
Okay.
Now, quick question for you. What is the range on the wireless here? Like, I know it's a pain in the butt, especially if you hooked a Coco up to like a big screen TV or something, and having to sit with your 4-foot long cable to the joystick. So how much of a range do you have on this? Like, could you sit 20 feet back on a couch and play it?
Yes, actually you can. Actually, I was across the room. I was about 15 feet away, and I was able to play with this particular adapter. The problem was that I couldn't get it to work correctly. Was that the joystick port has a built-in 5-volt line, but it just doesn't have enough power to drive a transceiver. So I actually added a boost to that. It's actually a USB connector that's built into the adapter now. But I'll post pictures of it in Facebook.
Okay. So this is going to be just like a Rev 2 of the Paragon adapter, still digital to analog, but now with the added benefit of being able to drive this wireless Sega pad.
Right. But there's another adapter. It's a Bluetooth. It's this one right here. I haven't tested on this one yet, but this one, if it does work, it'll also work with the Sony joystick adapters as well.
Oh, neat.
The PlayStation ones.
Now this go back to the first picture. So this device, if we're just taking 2 steps out of the world of Coco, this device is really designed for what? Does that have the normal DB or DE9 connection on it?
Yeah, right here is the little transceiver, the one I'm pointing to right here.
Yeah.
You plug that into the DE9 connector, and you plug this also in your Sega Genesis.
Right.
And this then talks to this wireless controller.
So this is an aftermarket wireless controller for an old 16-bit system. So this is a modern update to an old console, which is really cool when you think about it.
Right.
And you now have the added benefit of converting this to run on the Coco as well as a digital pad. What buttons will we get? Just the A and B or B and C buttons?
The B and C.
Right. Okay, the 2 buttons out of this. But that's cool.
Yeah, the 2 buttons.
That's pretty cool. I get it.
I like the wireless option. If you have a big screen TV, you hook your Coco up to play some of the games there that you can actually sit back instead of being right in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, or have this long drawn out cord
Yeah, that's somebody walking by to grab chips and you'll trip on and sue you for
and
injuring them.
Amigos Retro Gaming saying this is a high quality controller, saying he's got the Super Nintendo version of this. So yeah, it looks like a good quality stick. This was my favorite controller. This layout here, this 6-button layout on the Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn. To me, this was gaming perfection. And when the PlayStation controller first came out, it was so radically different from anything I had ever seen or used before that it just blew my mind. I'm like, what is this circle, square, triangle, X thing? I'm used to A, B, C. I can't process a shape. Give me a letter,
Right. That explains a lot of your gameplay videos.
Yes,
actually,
I don't think in shapes. I think in letters. A, B, C.
He gets confused by the blank buttons on a Coco.
Yes. So
No, right. Yeah. Cool. But there's no, never mind. Lost my thought there.
Okay.
That looks really cool though. That'd be nice. It's a nice modern controller.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, this can be used on other devices as well. So that's why
the Joey switcheroo box that we just showed off too. Yes.
Correct. So. But you can also use it for other platforms as well. So if you have a Sega Genesis, this can be used. So it's not just specifically for the Coco.
Yeah, neat. Very neat.
Cool.
I can't wait to get one to try with my Bluetooth adapter that's waiting for it.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the other thing is the original Paragon adapters can also be modified to work with these wireless controllers. It's not too difficult to do. I might come up with some kind of kit that people can just modify. It's just basically wiring a couple of wires onto the controller and plugging it in. It should work.
Cool.
And
how much does that controller run?
This controller runs $24 at Amazon.
Oh yeah, that's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, just one example of a controller that I work with, or is this the only? I'm confused. So the Paragon is going to be able to support wireless adapters.
Yes.
This is just one of them that will work. But
this is one that I've tested so far.
Okay, gotcha.
Theoretically, they sell another device. This one here, I have it, but I haven't tested it out yet. This is a Bluetooth adapter, and this Bluetooth will talk to among other things, a Sony PlayStation adapter
controller.
So
I think they have ones for Super NES controllers and stuff too.
Right, they have other ones, but I do have the Sony ones, and again, I need to test them out. I can't say it'll work.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I just
right. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, the question is it only just specifically for this controller, or the one that I previously showed? No, I just haven't tested them out yet. Theoretically, they should work.
Yeah, understood.
In theory, but.
Cool. Definitely keep us posted on that. If you can get a list of what controllers it for sure works with as you test them, that would be great.
Right. But yeah, I got it working about 3 days ago. I was pretty excited about it, and I kept playing games. And
I don't know if it was one of you guys who posted the clip. I'm sure some of you have seen the It Crowd. And they and they wanted to make their boss look like an idiot at some convention, so they give her a box and said, "This is the internet, and we're going to show it all to the shareholders." And she was like, "Yeah, this is the internet," and they're like, "But it doesn't have any cords." It's like, "Well, of course the internet's wireless."
That was such an awesome show.
Wireless is the future, man. So
yeah, good job on that. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I can share the other screen and show off the other one. Yeah, sorry about it. I should be more prepared, but
Yeah, listen.
You're keeping in the theme with the rest of us of not being prepared at all.
Make the rest of us look bad. Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, can you see this one now?
Yes, I see all the pretty colors.
Do you see the?
Yeah, see the little input here on the bottom where you're gonna put in your little micro USB voltage injector. Or something,
right, that's where it is right there, and then.
And then it plugs in. Does that plug into the joystick port?
Or
how does that? Or is that a cartridge?
Okay,
this is Paragon adapter.
This is the Paragon adapter here. So this is the DE9 connector that I'm pointing to right here.
Uh-huh.
And then this part right here is the PC board. or the USB.
That would
port.
be in the shroud, and then the other end of that would be a pigtail that would plug into your Coco for like a 6-pin DIN.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
these are the connectors right here that go
Off to the 6-pin
your,
DIN.
Yeah, your 6-pin DIN, and then this is your power.
So
right here.
the missing ingredient here was extra voltage to power that transceiver.
Right.
And so this is injecting that voltage in line to it.
Right.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So yeah,
Alrighty.
you could do like view layer, do a bottom view here.
David
See,
likes the
you
bottom
just-
view.
Yeah. See, because this adapter, the USB plug is mounted on the bottom part.
Yeah.
And then the top part is the top view of the board itself. This fits in the DE9 hood of that Paragon adapter.
Yeah, that's neat. Some super miniaturization going on there.
Yes, it took a lot of engineering. I was working on it last night, but I was going to do a video and I just didn't have a chance to do it. So.
Very, very cool. Well, we've covered news. We've introduced the panel. I think we've got more panel now than when we started, which is cool too. Does anybody have anything else? We can get into our project updates and acquisitions, but anybody have a little thing they wanted to show off where we can do a segment to feature someone's something?
Ron's Garage.
Ron's Garage.
I've got
Sounds exciting.
VGA
Oh, there you go.
programmer that
Sorry.
program. I don't know whether that's a project updates thing or is that a thing to put in now?
Probably
Or...
be a project update then, maybe. So maybe Ron, you got some stuff you want to show and tell and
Yeah,
share?
I just want to flip through a couple things.
All right, so you're going to share with us? I
Sure.
don't have the Ron's Garage
That's all right. I'll just do it.
infographic
I'll wing
up
it.
here. But what I can do real quick, as you're getting ready to wing it, I'll at least pull up the sound bite for you. So the audio of Panic and Funkotron, which is what we usually play for you.
Just picture it in your mind.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I'm not. You guys can't hear the sound, but I can.
There it is.
Describe it to us.
It's got a lot of bounce, like a wow wow. Ron, we're looking at your wallpaper and your Logitech QuickCam, but not your computer.
Well, I should. Well, evidently.
Yeah, the same camera I have.
Gee, you should come more prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Should have been like
It is a
Richard.
professional show.
Yeah.
Since when?
Oh, for all of you, I've seen Ron's Garage.
I thought it was on
I know what
CoCoTALk.
it looks like.
Yeah.
That's right.
Prepared. I think you're on the wrong show then.
Do you see it now?
Yes, we
Igor?
see it.
Yes, we do.
I made this up for Chet. Whether he uses it or not, probably not. But I just thought
We got
it
a
would be
shovel,
cool.
Digger 3 with a shovel,
It-
and
yeah,
looks like a pile
just
of poo
some-
down there.
something cool. That's exactly what I thought he would think, and then I threw it up on my.
That's more a test of
great.
Steve's mind than.
I threw it up on my SX.
Yeah.
Does that mean Chet has to ship a free poop emoji with every copy of Digger 3 now?
I made a Christmas tree.
Oh, that's cute. Christmas tree out of cartridges.
Yeah.
I thought Scriptset was on top. What's on
It
top?
is.
So,
Is that
so can we
Scriptset?
call
Oh, okay.
so we can call that Digger 3 a
Call it
pilot
Scriptset.
chat?
There we go. Oh,
There you go.
Scriptset. Oh, Scriptset. How lovely.
And here you go. It's I made this for Matt Chai, or how do you
Matchy.
say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matchy.
And the poor guy dumped on us, and he pretty much blocked everybody.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
I'm sad because I thought I was getting some headway with him, and I was going to try and help him. He wanted to have
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, Matchy, if you're listening, Matchy, well, get in touch with us. We'd love to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice holiday picture you made nonetheless there, Ron.
Yeah. Then there's the artwork I did for that. Anyway, here's the next thing I want to show you. There's a lot of stuff if you go through here and sometime pick photos and
That
just
looks familiar.
just go through and look at all the stuff. Look at how everybody shows the stuff they
Yeah,
have.
this is your other Facebook group called Show Us Your
Yes.
Candy Color Computer.
Yes, there's tons of stuff. Pictures like this one. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
Look-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Neat. And then I was showing was it? So someone asked how to get this up. So if you're in Nitrous,
That was me.
Yes, and you want to see how you hit apps here, and then go to the next screen, which has Planet. Click on that.
I'm going to step-by-step visual tutorials taking place
Yes,
here.
and then you
You're
get to a screen like this, and you have to make this size the full screen, except for just a tiny little area at the bottom, which someday you know who will fix it. And then it comes up.
Okay, so it's a simple 14-step process to launch this application.
That's it.
So.
Yeah, that's it. But it can be done with, just typing. Paul and I were playing around with it last night, and we were getting the songs to play just by typing the lines, Anyway, now let's see. What was I going to show? That's it, pretty much. That was in the OS 9 section. OS 9. This here is interesting. Tony run across this. This is for OS 9000.
OSK.
OSK, yeah.
I used to have that book myself.
Yeah. That's it, guys.
Very cool. Thank you, Ron Delvo.
Yep. Now, how to get out of here? Stop share.
There you go. Good deal.
There you go.
Voila. Thanks, guys.
All right. So we'll continue with project updates and acquisitions. I believe, David O'Connor, you had something you wanted to show and tell.
Yeah, during the... actually, I'll just turn off my background here because otherwise I've got a blue screen here, and otherwise it'll what I'm showing will disappear into the blue and become invisible. So just go to that. Ed Snyder announced a update to the Coco VGA to version 0.92, in which he'd done. I've got a bit of a list here. Let me just bring up my list.
Somebody's
my
upset.
cat meowing in the background. Yes,
Neo
Puss is
likes
saying,
it.
"Hey, what can I?" Come on, Puss. Enough of that.
You
I'm busy.
must be talking to me.
Yeah. Hey. All right. So let's see.
He's as prepared as the last two people.
Yeah, Brendan was on a week or so ago and talked about that. I mean, it supports the SAM doubler. It fixes a glitch where you couldn't swap palettes when you were in 64 column mode, a few things like that.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, he announced that to do it, we can either send boards into him and he will do the update for us, or bring them along to CoCoFest and he'll do them there. Or there was a third option for those who are willing to get their hands dirty in a tech way and actually get in and plug in a device into your Coco VGA and plug the other end into your computer and actually do a firmware flash update. You can actually do it yourself. So Ed sent me the details. This is the little device here. It's called a USB blaster. It's basically got a cable there that plugs into your into the PC. That little device does the interpreting, and it's got a cable that runs off the end here. That connects into where are we? That connects into the Coco VGA, and then you use a utility on your PC to do an update, and it will flash the up to version 0.92, and you get all the extra features. So, what I do need though, this cable that it came with, the header, the connector, this connector on this end here, is a smaller version on the Coco VGA, and I don't have any connectors for it. So I'm going to have to see if I can maybe get Ed Snyder to post me an adapter if he's got a spare one there, and maybe even send over a couple of spare 6309s, and I might send one of them up to Bryza, and he can put that in his computer. So
I think Brendan has some of those adapters for that cable too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So either one of them, I'll get one off one of those two, and I could make one myself, but I don't have the connectors, and they require special tools to actually to get in there and crimp the cable onto it, and I don't have the special tool for that here.
I will mention the blaster device you're showing there. That actually is also the same one that Jim Brain uses. So if you ever got a CoCoMem Junior or a CoCoMem once those are released, the firmware updates are done with the exact same piece of hardware.
Oh, that's convenient.
And just use a hammer on the thing, right? Bam.
Oh, well, yeah, you can actually use a pair of pliers and crimp them together like that. But, given that it's going to be for the Coco VGA kits, I want to make sure it's done properly and not mess anything up. This is slightly off topic, but it's a bit on topic because I am using this to record my new album, which is going to be all recorded with the Cocos, as we know. Another firmware update device here. This one here connects to the audio to synth ACO 1/62 sound unit that I've been using to get my Coco to play all the synthesizers. Brian Kaczynski, who designed the unit, has also released a firmware update, and I was hoping I was going to be able to use the same device, the other one, to do both. But no, this one needs a special one. But Brian actually sent me over this one. He actually paid for it and got it shipped to me because I'm beta testing and doing demos for him and whatnot. The firmware update for this synthesizer adds more functions and features to the audio to synth converter, which gives me a whole lot of extra palettes, filters and extra functions and everything on the onboard synthesizer and that I can utilize directly from my Coco for the upcoming album. So
you're just going to explode, aren't you?
Yeah. So it's been a firmware update week. But that one's done because I had the right connectors for it, and I connected it into that and ran the utility from my PC, updated it, and I've got all the new features on this board. So
boom.
It's it's really, really quite exciting stuff. So that's pretty much it for my updates.
Okay, cool.
Has there been any updates on the Coco SDC lately?
Meaning like a firmware update or anything else?
Yeah, since we're talking about that.
I'm not sure.
I figured I'd ask.
I think 052 is the latest one, isn't it? Or was 051 was the latest on the Coco SDC? I don't think there was one a little while ago, but not recently, I don't think.
Anyone? Is Terry still with us? Terry Steggy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Terry, why don't you tell us a little bit, if you can, about the Glenside newsletter archiving that you've been working on?
Sure. Tony sent me basically I got half of his collection of all the Glenside newsletters that in paper form. So I've been working on trying to scan those one at a time and clean them up and stitch them. I think they turned out pretty well. Mm-hmm. I've given him and Bob Swagger the copies. I think they're going to be putting them on the Glenside website soon. I did share some with Stevie's because I think you're kind of the lead now, aren't you, on the newsletter?
Yep.
Glenside?
Yeah,
so,
I was perusing them and I noticed one of the articles, if Alan's still with us, Alan did a review of like the Atlanta Coco Fest or Rainbow Fest from like 85 or 86. I saw that.
That was pretty cool.
It spanned many, many pages, but it was kind of the review from that fest. And so I thought that's cool.
He always reviewed the drive there too, like the entire adventure he went on, because he seemed to have an adventure every time he drove to one of these things. So
yeah, that's how I got my start when I was doing all this. I was the Coco Fest report guy because the people that were doing it before me stopped doing it. So somebody had to.
Did you run across any couches on the way?
No, I never did, but boy, have I had adventures.
Yeah, well, I got to say that I think that's really cool that we have these old episodes. I'm going to be mining stuff from the old ones and putting them in newer episodes. So like maybe a flashback article here and there and stuff like that, and showing off some of the old artwork from the cover page and all kinds of stuff. So it's great that we've got this bonus content to incorporate into the publication, which goes back to 1985. So it's really amazing that this Glenside, not only has Glenside been around since the dawn of the 18th century, but this newsletter's been around since like 1985, and it's really cool. So
yeah, I think Tony was happy with the quality of it. He did get in contact with me. He actually has a bunch more stuff he'd like me to scan and get cleaned up for him. So that will probably be within the next month or so. I'll get to work on that. Yeah. I do have a couple acquisitions too, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was wishing Rick was still on, but I think he's dropped. But I did finally get a good copy of, I don't know if you see that or not.
Temple
of Rom.
Rom. Yes.
Nice.
I
Of
have
which he's
looked
working
for
on the
that.
sequel even as we speak.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd heard that. Of course, I have to try to go at least 1 month with something TDP related, and I don't know if you can read that or not, but it actually says for the TDP S100.
Yeah,
So,
System 100. Yeah.
good old Avalon Hill.
Neat.
Yeah, that's a cool game too. 3D bust.
Yeah, and
bust
that's
out,
that's
basically.
still kind of shrink wrap there, Terry.
Yep, still shrink wrapped and everything. I was pretty shocked about that one.
Wow.
Cool.
Still got that new
Yeah.
game smell sealed inside. So.
I'm not going to smell it.
All the way back from 1982 by Britt Monk.
Smells
I
like
had not
crayons.
seen this one before, but it's called Art Gallery,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
it's
that came with cassettes, if I remember.
program pack and cassette.
Cassettes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some sample art that you could load into it, and then I guess this was a cartridge that would let you paint with your Coco and then save your drawings to tape. If I'm
Yeah,
not
and it's got
mistaken.
a. Sorry, it's
a
pretty
template.
yellow.
So it's got a template that went over the chiclet keyboard to show you what all your keys were.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Kind of cool.
that's a
Geez, I
value
got one
added.
of those. Haven't even looked at it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I actually found this source, and I don't have it with me, but they also had two of the virtually impossible to find TDP ones. There's a Learning Lab and the what is it, Video Text. They're on the same kind of binder.
Oh,
I didn't
neat.
bring them with me to work with me, but I did get one other. I got the Learning Lab.
Color Computer Learning Lab. Was that for the TDP or for the
No,
Coco?
I have one for the TDP, but I didn't bring it to work with me here
Yeah.
today. But this is the Coco one.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, those are nice to find if you can find them. I got one too. I'm happy that I do.
and this I like. It's got tabs. Somebody really took a lot of time and kind of sorted things out. Anyway, kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what I've got. Sorry, I didn't bring the other TDP stuff. We'll do that next
No,
time.
that's cool. That's cool.
Hey Terry, what kind of stuff do you use to actually copy those, documentation or whatever?
I'm using a Fujitsu flatbed scanner, and then I just use Adobe to like clean up and try. I didn't want to lose some of some of it's like mimeograph, how they copied them. So I didn't want to lose that. It looks kind of cool. So I left some of that, just made sure it was readable.
So does this automatically feed them in? Or do you
I
have to
don't
put
trust-
each one down?
I'm doing them each one at a time because I just don't, they're pretty brittle. I don't want to tear them. It scares me to death to run them through an automated
Yeah.
sheet feeder.
So that's pretty
I'm doing them one at a
time-sensitive.
time.
That is
Yeah.
time consuming. Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you doing that.
Oh, no problem. I'll hopefully get them all done here in the next month or so.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Is that the conclusion of your update?
Yep. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Anybody else got something they want to share? they've
Steve
been working
Bjork
on?
mentioned he has a small update. Assuming he's
Muted,
at his
you're
mic.
muted, Steve.
And he's prepared also.
Yeah, I had
Sorry,
some
I
news.
set the standards.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Paul
did.
T. Martin's got an update. Go ahead, Paul.
I was in contact with Robert Galt, who wrote the 8 megabyte memory driver, and his NoCan Coco 3 was getting worse and worse, and it wouldn't reboot. So between messages, because he's only got dial-up, so we got back and forth, and finally he just pulled the NoCan off and found out that one of the contacts in the gimme socket was pushed farther away than it should have been. So he was able to restore that contact in the socket and got his computer running again.
Cool.
So it's just a minor thing. You never know what's going to happen and
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. It's
Is he
just
going to be
contact went-
producing things?
Pardon?
Is he going to be doing stuff?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him, I guess.
He has been doing stuff. He's been doing some of the 609 patches for EdTasm for Nick that he's been using in Gunstar, so he's
Oh,
still
good.
active.
Good.
Okay. David Ladd
Yeah.
saying he's got an update he wants to share. By all means, David Ladd.
As soon as I can unmute my mic.
Okay.
So
let the lad share.
Oh yes. So thanks to a member of the community, sent me a early Christmas gift, which was, I don't know if anybody's heard of a grease weasel. I guess a reference would be.
Do you have to feed it?
No.
Grease. You feed it grease.
So basically, a grease weasel is kind of like what a cryoflux or the old cat weasel was back in the day, where you could image floppies.
Okay, I was going to say, up until you said those last two words, you weren't speaking English at all. Image floppies, I understood. Yes, okay.
So basically, it reads the flux transitions from the floppy disk, and then
the flux capacitor.
Yeah, right. And then basically, you can look at the stuff. Make an actual disk image that you could use on an emulator or the SDC. And in this particular case, it will also write the flux image back out to a floppy. So basically, you could read in a floppy and then put another blank disk in and write it right back out.
Can I ask you a really dumb question?
Yes.
What's the significance of this? Would this handle things like that were copy protected, that had non-standard formats and whatnot?
Well,
yes, it does.
For obvious reasons, I didn't want to bring up that because I do not condone piracy. So,
well, no, it's not just for piracy. I mean, if you bought copy protected programs back in the day, and you want to make a backup,
A
because it's
legitimate
starting to
copy
go
of it,
bad.
yeah.
I mean, Tim Lindner had a Cat Weasel, the original one for the ISA bus PCs. He lent it to me, and I made copies of all my old Sundog games, my Dicom games, my Phaser Light games and stuff, because they were starting to fail, and there was no place to get them anymore.
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of where I was going, because I don't see what you're getting so excited. If all it does is copy floppies, you don't need a special contraption for that. There's got to be a value added to it, and that's it. Non-standard discs, or even let's say a problematic disk. Maybe you've got a disk with errors. Would this help you salvage data from a otherwise unreadable disk?
Yes, you basically could read the disk in. One of the things is let's say you have a CoCo, but you don't have a working floppy controller anymore. So this would be a way to get the floppy disk into the CoCo and use it with the SDC.
So does it have its own floppy drive? Then it's got a 5 1/4 inch floppy reader on it.
All it is let me.
So how are you going to get what? Because you kind of contradicted yourself. If you don't have a floppy drive, how do you get it?
No, I said working floppy controller.
A floppy controller. You still need a drive.
Right. You still need a drive. But so far, I've tested this with a 3.5 inch and a 5 1/4, the old double density ones, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it's red. Now, there are people, one of the people that would definitely, this would be good for is Paul Fiscarelli's stuff that he did at Tandy Assembly for the forensics work and stuff, where he did that demo. This would be a inexpensive alternative for people that want to try to recover their data.
And what does this Grease Weasel cost? What's the average price on this product?
Well, the firmware that's on GitHub is, free. The microcontroller is $2, and all you have to do is get the circuit board manufactured and a few components. So I'm saying,
so this isn't something you can just buy. You can't buy.
It's not off the shelf. Then it's like a parts.
It's a kit.
Yeah, it's a project like my mouse adapter right now. It's something that I've built. It's just not being manufactured yet.
Okay, because the Cat Weasel actually was sold as a pre-made board. You just plugged in and went.
Yeah, this is something that's a do-it-yourself project.
Okay.
So are you going to start a recovery business that we can call you and send you stuff and you'll recover it for us? Hello? Hello?
I think he just went into a tunnel. I think we lost him.
Yeah. Okay, so
So it's basically-
you've got a new magic floppy contraption that lets you read, copy, and repair and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and one of the popular emulators before the God, I can't think of the cheap ones, the floppy drive emulators that you can stick.
The GoTech?
Yeah, the GoTech's the cheap one. The one
Oh, yeah.
before that was the
The
HXC. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the software that comes with that is really nice. One of the things that like Curtis and I and a few of the other OS9 people did was formatting 20 sector floppies. And using the software for the HXC actually
Can you guys wake me
lets
up when
you-
he's done?
The software for the HXC actually lets you pre-create ready to go images with your custom formats. And then all you have to do is just mount it and then, write your volume information to it and you're done. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do with those tools and the Grease Weasel.
I have a question for you, David.
Hey, David.
Yes,
go
dear.
Does this support high density floppies as well? Like, can you recover your MM1 discs?
That is what I'm hoping for, because the fact that I've got Eric
Critchlow?
Yes, I've got his masters
Critchlow.
for
Eric
the his gold runner that he did for the MM1. So, and that's also. Go ahead.
No, sorry, you go.
No, but it's the MM1 discs. Normally, most PCs and other systems, the sector started with sector 1 and then went to like 18 or so forth on like the CoCo, and the PC went from 1 to 9. But on the MM1, its sector number started with 0. So a lot of systems on the PC had problems reading it because it was out of its norm. So, and that's what I'm hoping to do with this is recover those floppies.
The Grease Weasel to the rescue.
Hey, David.
So
on
basically,
your,
it's copy.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, basically, what you're doing there is you're basically reading the raw data off the floppy and then copying it and then writing the raw data back onto a new one. Yeah.
Yes.
If anybody remembers episode 66 where I rage quit, I'm about to the point now where I'm taking my headphones off. So we're getting close to that point. So
The Steve Kahn graphic.
I have heard enough floppy crap for one show.
No. Steve, go get a coffee. Come back in a few minutes.
The show completely go to the dogs.
Don't
now.
make me get out my 8-inch floppy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'm going to take it out of the sleeve now.
Oh, no.
Floppy
Oh,
porn.
no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And where did you get those? Because I have a 8-inch drive that I need floppies for.
This is one I picked up on the free table at Coco Fest. I don't know what year it was, if it was this year or last year. It was just on the free table. I said, I don't have one. And I had it hanging up on the wall for a while. It's kind of a...
Yeah,
cool.
There's no notches on the side.
Yeah, just a display piece, just for fun.
Nice.
It's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Okay, now to
Especially
you,
for
Terry.
David.
The only thing Jason has is 8 inches.
Terry?
Yeah, I was just curious, David, if you on your website could maybe list how you're doing that with that grease monkey. I just
Grease
bought-
monkey.
Whatever,
Grease monkey,
weasel,
grease
sorry.
weasel. It's it's some type of animal.
Is it a garden weasel?
Yeah,
If you're grease wallaby, I was wondering.
Grease wallaby. Crikey.
Grease
Jingo.
croc. I don't want Stevie to explode. So.
Look at the size. Look at the size of that wrench.
Yeah, what do you do? Write a detailed article and put it on www.nobodygivesashit.com.
Stevie, there are people that do care.
Yeah.
I thought it was www.enragestevie.com.
Go, Stevie. Go get a coffee and come back.
Yeah, sorry,
that-
Stevie.
I think
Sorry,
that sucking
Stevie, but
sound
this-
was. I think that sucking sound was people.
Okay, well
leaving the chat.
here's what I need to do to break the tension. I am going to run a commercial break and come back, but it is perfect timing because you want to talk about your grease monkey and whatever other animals and lubricants you use. That's fine, but one of my projects has been kind of collecting all of the different bits and commercials and segments we've had, and some of them which we have not aired in a while. Some of them have never aired before, so you saw one. So this is a perfect segue and perfect timing for this next bit. So let me turn the system sound back on again so you guys can hear this. So this is perfect, David. I'm glad you're talking about this. Not really, other than it's a great segue for this next commercial break. We'll be right back.
You are watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly video podcast, featuring the Tandy Color computer. We spread the love to the past, present, and future for all models, including the original color computer, the Coco 3, and the world-renowned exclusive French-Canadian Coco 2. The Radio Shack.
Coco 2, c'est le coq champignon, des micros et donne le pion. Pour le jeu, il est pas bavard, les études, c'est pas bizarre. L'expansion, il adore ça, les commandes, tu vas voir ça. Notre Coco est bon bonhomme, pour tes cours, c'est bien serviable. Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac.
Un ordinateur couleur qui a de la personnalité. Le Coco 2 de Radio Shack. En solde pour Noël à partir de 149,95.
Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac. C'est toi et Coco 2.
8-slot MPI, floppy drive, Coco SDC, sound speech pack, Orchestra 90, RS-232 pack, modem pack, Super IDE. You start adding all those together if you want them all usable at the same time. Well, guess what? You just went over the 4-slot MPI.
And now, these messages.
Hi, this is Randy Kindig of the Floppy Days podcast. I just love me some Coco, and nobody covers it better than Steve Strobridge. You're listening to CoCoTALK.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me. It's Original Gamer Steve. All right,
Joe.
obviously I screwed
thank
that
God
one
we're
up.
not going to play that one.
I feel like we just got through 3 floppy days of talking about floppy
I screwed
stuff.
that one up. I clicked on something right in the middle of the damn David Ladd story commercial. Sorry about that, guys.
You did something right.
Amazing.
All right.
Anyway, Steve Bjork has an update too.
Steve Bjork,
Yeah, Steve Bjork.
He's actually back.
Yeah. Basically, what I was just before I came on, there was a segment where Chet was talking about Digger, and he's going to try and get the speech sound pack to work at double speed. Well, back in the day, I was doing the same thing, trying to get the speech sound pack to work correctly with double speed, and I found out what was going on inside. It's not that the I/O bus can't handle the double speed. They use the clock coming over the bus to run a voltage converter. And when the voltage converter runs at double speed, it can't generate the voltage it needs to do.
Right.
So
Okay.
even if you go to slow speed and send the data in and then go back up to upper speed, you're going to have a problem. Now, it gave a little thing is, I don't think it's the General Instruments sound chip that's really having the problem. It's
It's the
the
microcontroller that you have to
Yeah.
communicate with, which is fine. I mean, most
Yeah.
people really don't care too much about the speech and sound cartridge, so I don't think
Yeah.
they'll object too much to modifying it to work. There's a patch for it, so that's good. Plus, there are other 8912 chips out there to support. So it's just a matter of dealing with the microcontrollers. So
I just didn't want you to sit there and spend a lot of time like folks did trying to find the 256 color mode. You try out your code. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, don't spend much time trying to get it to work.
Oh, I won't. I won't try to get it to work. I mean, I'm not that attached to the speech and sound cartridge. I mean, it's more of a, it's a novelty as far as I'm concerned, because you do have to go through that step of modifying it. But I do, since I'm already supporting the the 89 series. It's I might as well go ahead and throw that on there too.
Good. Yeah.
Is the Orchestra 90 on your radar or no?
No.
Yeah, it's not a sound chip. It's
wow.
just gas. So.
I have a suggestion for this kind of talk. We ought to call this segment Stevie Strobridge Beyond Level 1.
There you go.
Where no man has gone before.
Yes.
I have to admit, I was going to try and keep this one as short as possible because I can already see a little bit of red in his face.
I don't mind.
If it wasn't for the fact he was eating right now,
I was trying to go grab a
really
snack.
red.
I was going to try to grab a snack while I let a commercial play, and then I screwed up and clicked on the wrong commercial. So
he's not doing too bad. So let's really hit him so heavy with some tech talk.
No, as long as it's not 20 sector floppies
Optimizing
and
basic.
track 0 and blah blah blah.
Oh, don't worry, Stevie. I just got 21 sectors on a disk now.
Hey, what about Bluetooth
Oh, it's
protocol?
legal. Awesome.
All right, so now that I had a snack, Terry, do you want to ask your question again? Maybe I can tolerate this crap for another minute or two.
Well, I was just curious. I bought a lot of floppies. I got like 300 of them from this guy, and I was wondering if you could show David how your systems work, and I'd like to archive those and put them out to the community, but I'm going to need help because I'm not quite sure how to do that and maybe do some error correction, because I'm sure being they're old, there's going to be some errors on them.
Yeah,
and
the
then,
error correction I don't know yet, because I literally just got it assembled last night, and so I was been up like all night playing with it.
Hey, I do actually have a question about the Grease Weasel, David. Can it duplicate OS9
brass
disks?
monkey?
Yeah, the grease monkey, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Can it duplicate OS9 disks?
It's the raw flux. It'll duplicate whatever the hell you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I mean, because I have a Japanese scenery disc that I've been meaning to copy, and I haven't done it yet for this flight simulator. Because nobody else has it.
Well,
now is the copying part automated through this device where you don't have to still run it through the operating system and do the, disk copy 0 space 1 and stuff? So is it like more of a mechanical or automated process and less of an OS or computer based process?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
It's a command line tool in Linux.
Okay, so you're running it through a PC.
Yes.
Okay.
Via USB, which is one of the advantages of this device, is that it works on modern equipment, unlike the old cat Weasel that required an ISA.
How does the greased monkey interface with the floppy drive itself, though? Is it using a 34-pin ribbon cable
yes,
or whatever it's
standard
called?
34-pin cable.
Okay, so it connects.
Grease monkey.
So it's connecting to a floppy drive through a 34-pin cable, but then there's a USB interface to the PC. You send commands to it, and it will read physical floppies, and then you can also tell it to output to an image through the same command line?
It's all done through the Grease Weasel's Python scripts.
Okay.
So does it work with? Will it work with basically any floppy, like 3.5-inch, 5-inch, 8-inch? Will it work with hard drives and stuff as well, or is it specifically a tool for like 5 1/4?
It's for the floppy disks, so 3.5-inch, 5 1/4 that connects to the 34-pin header.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had like my old Mirage, I've got a whole bunch of 3.5-inch floppies there, so I could do backups of those using that tool.
far as I know.
How does it know what image format to output them to? Like, how does it know like a DSK image or a JVC
it doesn't.
image?
It just does a raw.
Doesn't matter because
it's a flux
copying
image.
raw. It reads a
It's
sector
copying-
and it writes a sector. It's very low level.
It's just looking at basically whether there's a magnetic north or a magnetic south at a certain spot and copying that and then writing exactly the same thing onto a different disk. So you're basically looking at the actual physical magnetic structure of the disk, copying that into a file and then rewriting that physical structure onto a new disk. So it's not going to care what's on the disk. It's just going to copy whatever's on it, ones and zeros, and rewrite the ones and zeros in exactly the same place on the new disk.
Yeah, I think Stevie was asking though when it writes out a disk file, like an actual image
because
file.
we have
what
different disk
format
formats.
does it
We've
use?
got the DSK, we've got the.
It's my impression that it doesn't get that high level. It reads a sector and it writes a sector. Is what I'm.
Yeah, I heard that and I understand that, but that's still not helping me understand how what do I end up with if I want to put it on my Coco SDC? Does it create?
You end up with a bunch of
Use
sectors.
the HXC tools to convert the flux image to something that's more usable.
so the Grease Weasel creates a flux image, which is a raw image verbatim to whatever was on the original physical disk, and then you need another tool to convert that to a specific format for your emulator or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
This comes down to what the flux.
What the flux is going on here? Yes, exactly. Thank you, Rondell Bob.
So to give you an idea, MAME, unfortunately, because they still haven't fixed the JVC, how slow it is to read disk images, because it's like MAME is quite slow when you're using the floppy emulation. So I finally just stopped using JVC images on MAME, and I started using MFM images, which is basically the flux transition based images.
So where does
MAME.
the grease come in?
When your
Does
floppy
it
gets
convert
stuck-
to SDF and DMK as well, which are the previous Cat Weasel style formats that the SDC works with and MAME works with, etc.?
Okay, well, it's clear to see why David's excited about this. It's a convoluted, kludgy, frickin' fluster cluck of a thing that appeals to 0.01% of anybody on the planet, and David's super excited. All right, so
I'm going to tell you, I'm choking on mine.
I believe they call it a game changer.
It's a game changer.
I think Stevie has reached DEFCON 2 now.
The long and short is it lets you back up basically disks in any format, including copy protection, various sector sizes, illegal sector numbers, track numbers, because it makes a very raw
Errors.
image of the disk.
Right.
Because you can convert that afterwards to a DMK or SDF, which is the SDC. Those are basically two versions of the same thing that actually we did with the Cat Weasel back in the day to get some of the copy protected games that are up now. Like some of
Doesn't
the Sundog
software do the same thing?
No.
Well, I think that's what David Lab was saying with the HXC software. You can use that to convert things. And I don't know if is Chris Poacher still in the chat. This is very much up his alley. My Mirage actually has a GoTech floppy emulator in it that I actually bought off Chris, and Chris actually converted all of the Mirage images using the HXC software, and they're on a USB stick which goes into this GoTech emulator, which I can load literally hundreds of floppies onto a single little micro USB thing, and then just load it straight into the Mirage as if it's a regular floppy. So, and that uses the 6809 processor, so that anything that the Coco would be the same sort of thing.
All right, cool. Well, David's happy he's got a Grease Weasel. Can anybody top that? Has anybody acquired anything more entertaining, informative, and exciting than a Grease Weasel?
Quite possibly, yeah.
I've got a dry duck.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
So actually, yes, I did recently acquire something that is a little out of the ordinary. It is and I haven't opened this up yet. So hang on, let me pull this out. I have opened or cut the box open, but let me get. So this is what is it? Let me pull this up. very unfamiliar with this board.
Oh, this light.
Where did it go? Okay, this is a Voices Nortel StarTalk XT, and this is a 6809 based computer.
And your green screen's kind of messing it up.
All right, let me turn that off
your
here.
Wallpaper.
Let me virtual background off.
Ron, you gonna say it?
That battery there just reminds me that I need to replace the BIOS battery in my studio PC.
Turn it off. Let me turn this off.
And David, Al Hartman's asking for the link to the Grease Weasel if you want to put it in the YouTube chat.
Oops.
Oh.
Okay, your background's changing.
Yeah, we got some entertainment here.
Looks like you're in a NORAD right now.
It looks like the Star Trek's bay.
Dr. Evil's laboratory.
Yes, it won't help.
I can see your main board now, so maybe it was just a light issue.
Can you
Yeah,
hum
try
it
to show it to
while
us.
you're doing that?
Okay. Yeah, but see now, as soon as it gets in the light, it disappears on us.
Get it close to the.
Yeah, get it closer to the camera, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
So you have to have the huge case for that.
Oh, he's completely disappeared now.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, anyway, so let's talk a little bit about this board. So this is a 6809 compatible, actually. It has an EC68B09E, which is an ST Microelectronics. It's supposed to be 6809 compatible, but everything that I've been able to find on it says that apparently this chip experiences some problems with compatibility sometimes. I'm not sure why. But the only other things that I've been able to find out specifically about this particular board is that, see these slots up here? Can you actually see these on the?
Yeah.
These are VME connectors, but this is actually an ISA bus.
Oh,
So
and VME was the custom bus that Motorola had, right?
Right. So, apparently this is a mishmash of a few things, but it's got, I haven't spec'd out, the memory, but it's got quite a few chips on it. I've seen SCSI and floppy controllers for this, as well as video controllers, IDE controllers as well, specifically marketed for this board. So at some point this had to have an operating system. I'm starting to wonder if it had OS 9 on it.
Interesting.
Possibility.
So
some of the VME bus systems definitely did. We had one at work in one of our presses.
Right.
So it's basically a more modern, basically motherboard that runs a 6809 processor, yeah?
Yes, yeah. And this was manufactured, I think, in 1992.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Right. So, I mean, and I do know that this particular chip was used in several video games, but I'm trying to track down exactly what those, which ones those were, so I can maybe get some more information on this particular chip. I do have the data sheets. I haven't gone through it yet. I want to see, how compatible, how compatible it is. It does have a serial connector. So this was one of the things. Yeah. So there were a couple of these boards on eBay that I saw, but this was the only one that had the serial connector with it. Everybody else wanted like $30 or $40 just for the connector. So, and I do know that according to the ad that I got, that this worked before it was shipped.
Okay, and you said this was for a Nortel PBX system or something, or?
Yeah, this is some type of a communication control board. I'm not sure exactly what function it served overall, but I have seen some other boards that plug into this that do have to do with controlling lines. It looks like they have relays and stuff on them. So it is certainly possible that there are some PBXs or some other much larger systems that out there that are running this and similar boards. So this the possibility that could be running OS 9 is really cool. So I want to be able to see if I can get this connected. It does have memory over here. It looks like an older SIM connector. So it's probably I'll pull it out later on once I've got more grounding and see if how much memory it's got on it. But my guess is that it's at least 128K.
Cool.
Does it run at 0.897 gigahertz or megahertz or whatever?
I don't know what the speed is, but it is supposed to be compatible with the B09E. So 2 megahertz.
It's a bit, yeah, 1.79 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't had a whole lot of chance to look at that. It's very difficult to find information on these. Apparently, Google just does not want to give me a whole lot of information, so I'm gonna have to start tracking some stuff down and see what this is. And if it does happen to have OS 9, then that means that there are certainly some drivers going to be on there for some other devices. Hopefully for some of those that I've seen marketed, because if it does have those drivers, I'm going to start getting those devices and see what I can't get up for OS 9 on this sucker.
Cool.
Sounds like an interesting.
Now, you bought this as just
experiment.
a board. You don't have a bootable drive that came with it or anything else like that?
No. I saw this. I looked up what information I could, which was very, very minimal. It's with it being 6809 compatible, it's like, I gotta take a chance on something to play with.
Yeah, neat.
And having as I look more, seeing the devices and seeing it on it, thinking that it's a good possibility it could have OS 9 on it.
I have a
then
question.
it's something to play with.
Does that motherboard have a real-time clock on it?
You know what?
It does.
I'm betting that it does.
Because there's a battery in there, right? So
right.
They might even have an OS 9 on ROM on that thing, because I know our VME bus system at work actually had the main 2.4 boot on ROM, and then it would just attach to the floppy drives to get extra drivers for the press.
Man, the screen, the wallpaper stuff.
There's the battery right there.
There's the battery, yeah.
Yep.
What's the square things?
I have no idea, but I'm guessing it's to control something, which is exactly why I picked this up, because it seems interesting. It could be just for memory, but yeah, there's 6 of them on there.
Were FPGAs a thing back then? Are they like a version of an FPGA? I suppose they wouldn't be. They're sort of more recent.
No, they could be something. I don't know.
Does the motherboard have a manufacturer's name on it?
Yes, Norsis. Let's see. Yeah, it's the Voices Corporation. The Nortel. It's I know I've got the model number. I've got the manufacturing information on it.
Are they still around?
Nortel's long gone.
Yeah.
Northern Telecom. They were Canadian, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
I used to work there. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. In fact, this board came from Canada.
Hey.
It's a Canadian board.
Yeah.
Phone's not working.
Passport.
Yeah, we went to their cable manufacturing plants just down the road from us at my old job too. So.
Yeah, everything is spelled Z.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
The
right.
proper pronunciation.
Yep. Z80.
That's neat. That's neat.
And if you can't get it to work, it has a voice synthesizer that says, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry. We're sorry. The phone's not working right now.
Nothing.
Well, that's what all those chips are for. Each one's a word.
That's sorry.
It's a very primitive version of the speech sound pack. Yeah.
Nothing much socketed on there, is there?
Actually, the CPU socketed, and the memory is socketed, and those big ass chips are socketed. Hey, guess what? It's got a telephone connection, man.
Hey.
Awesome.
RJ11.
So I'm sure that I encountered something like this a few years before this one was manufactured, so I might actually have some luck with this.
Cool.
Cool.
That's going to be some cool updates. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, really keen to hear what you find out with that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, so this will be some of the stuff I'll be playing with this evening and taking a look at. So yes, it's a nice little distraction from Digger, keeps me involved with the 6809. And since this is supposed to be compatible, I'm gonna go ahead and order a real 6809 off of the internet, slap it on there.
So it's electrically compatible as well as being software compatible. Yeah,
it's supposed to be a drop-in replacement.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I wonder if it has different color smoke than a.
You know what? I don't know, but I could. I'm sure that I can order a couple of them and find out.
Yeah.
If it's a 6809 based, it'll be green smoke.
Yeah.
It's good for the environment.
No, that's a 60. That's a 6847. It's the green.
That's right.
Cool stuff, man. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Very cool.
Does it have any display output on it, or do you think it would need a separate display adapter plugged into an ISA slot?
It's regular ISA 8-bit video adapters. I've seen both monochrome and I think CGA or EGA for it.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, there are expansion boards for it. So as soon as I find out exactly what's on this ROM,
I'd love to see that thing boot up.
Yeah,
if it supports CJ or EJ, you can even port Diggy 3 to it. So
yeah, I'm not dealing with that.
That'd be cool.
Graphics. So that EGA bit plane stuff just ain't for me, man.
Yeah, it was a
Well, I
pain.
didn't go with the Atari ST. That stuff, man, is brain damage coming from that. Seriously, look at some of their games, man. That's brain damage right there. So, I like this board. Yeah,
that is neat.
It'll mess you up.
Does anybody else have an update or an acquisition or a project or something they want to share? Anyone?
I got a rock.
Jason's got a rock. All right. Yeah, part of my project updates these past couple of days is just getting my computer refitted to stream the show this weekend. I had to nuke my PC, which means I had to redo OBS, and I took time to dig up a lot of old content for commercials and bumpers and transitions and stuff like that. So you'll be seeing.
You getting more for us?
Getting more what?
Do you have any more for us?
Oh, I have plenty, but we're not going to show them all. But you guys saw part of the David Ladd floppy life thing that we haven't run that in a while. So I thought and it was just perfect because David's going on pontificating about floppies ad nauseum. So it was good. So that's been one of my project updates. The other project I'm working on right now is the latest newsletter for the Glenside Color Computer Club, and so I'm gathering a bunch of stuff. Okay, now we're hearing that there's a new Joey and Coco. I've been checking the site. I have refreshed the page. I don't see it. I'm on joey.gracenote.ca. I don't see it, Bruce. I have been watching this page. I don't see a new one. I see number 9.
Number nine.
Yeah. So you
We're
say
old.
I don't see it, Bruce. On that note, though, if anybody has something they would like to be in the Glenside newsletter that will be coming out at the end of this month in about a week or so, send it to me. Email me. Email ogsteviestro@gmail.com or send it to CoCoTALK at CoCoTALK.live if you have an article, a segment, a submission that can make it to the Glenside newsletter. So Terry Steggy, I would like a little write-up from you on our kind of archiving project, so we can let people know that that's taken place. And if anybody else has anything else in there, I will be harvesting some of the ones you have scanned for maybe some bonus content that I can re-air.
What's the drop dead deadline?
Soon, like the day or two. Couple days. Well, the newsletter is supposed to go out on the 21st. So before then. So I've got less than a week to get it done. So yeah. So that's kind of been my project between working on the newsletter now and having to regather content for the show. I've kind of put together new segments and new commercial breaks and things like that, just putting things in different orders and stuff. Bruce, I am on the Joey and Coco page. I don't see a new one. The latest one I see is number 9. What are those black things? That's from December 7th.
Well, have them come on and show us.
What's that?
Have them come on the show.
Yeah, come on and show us, Bruce, because we're running out of time. All right, if nobody has anything else, I'm going to go ahead and roll the first credits. Then we can come back for parting thoughts, and then if we get an update from Bruce, we'll show that after this. All right, so here we go. Here's our normal outro. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTALK.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTALK at CoCoTALK.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at CoCoTALK.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Differendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the Coco community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. All right, Bruce Moore says we have a new Joey and Coco, but I've been watching his site. I'm refreshing the page. I'm doing Control R in Google Chrome. I'm not getting an update to Joey and Coco, so I'm not sure what you're doing there, Bruce. So we'll give everybody time here to do some parting thoughts. Give Bruce a minute to see if he got his stuff together. L. Curtis Boyle, thank you again for another great week of news. Any parting thoughts from you, sir?
No, just go out and try out that game that kind of most people have not seen, and give us some feedback next week.
The Autobahn?
Yeah.
All right.
On my website now on Color Computer Archive later this week.
Roger that.
Yeah, I got craft work in my head now.
Okay. Yeah, the link for Joey and Coco is joey.gracenote.ca.
That is correct, and I'm there, and this one is December 7th.
Yeah, we're not seeing the latest episode.
Joey.gracenote.ca.
Yeah, Terry Steggy, any final words from you, sir? Thank you for being here.
Thanks, guys. It's always fun being here with you guys. I like who was it that was saying they were OCRing?
That was Curtis.
I guess that was you.
The code, that was me. Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool if we could do that. There are some basic programs in those newsletters. That might be kind of a neat idea to make a mini site of those programs.
Yeah.
Very cool. David O'Connor, thank you for being here. Any parting thoughts from you, sir?
Nothing off the top of my head except for it's, as usual, been an absolute blast. Having a bit of fun talking retro and Cocos and floppies and grease monkeys and brass monkeys and everything. It's been fun.
Yes. Yeah, I gotta say, the greased weasel and the brass monkey, those were two of the highlights of the show.
Cold monkeys.
Okay. Cold monkeys. Ron Delvaux.
Yes.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot with my 1000 series in my collection. There's one sitting here. It's an RL. And no, TL. I'm sorry. 1000 TL. And some have hard drives, some are floppy based. This one had a hard drive, but it so yeah. But
it sounded like a floppy drive.
I have lots of fun during the week being retired. I spend a bunch of time playing with my toys, breaking things.
And that's cool.
Yeah. See you next week.
All right, very cool. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Chet Simpson, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I will be posting that video that I mentioned last week of going through some of the beginning steps of using the tools that I've created for creating Digger and stuff. So I'll be posting that sometime this evening. I've got some titling that I've got to finish up on. One mistake I did make last week, I mentioned that it was about 30 minutes long. I was wrong. It's about 56 minutes long. So that's why it took me a little longer to do it. So I'll be posting that sometime this evening. I'll go ahead and post some close-ups and pictures of this board that I've got up on the Facebook group.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that is neat.
It's all about the monkey. The monkey.
He's got a monkey there.
Nick Marotta, any parting thoughts, sir?
Just to Chet, I love you, man. I'm a little concerned about the fact you need distraction from Digger 3. So go ahead and enjoy it tonight, but hopefully you get back to it we're chomping at the bit for this thing. It looks awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, man. It is coming. It will be out, sometime between Christmas and middle of January. So we do have the everything locked down except for the last couple of details. So we're good.
My wife has kicked open the office door so I can smell the food out there in the
Oh,
kitchen.
dinner's
so-
ready.
Yeah.
Soup's on.
Yes, John Lowry, parting thoughts.
Don't pee into the wind.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Thanks, Jim Croce. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, nothing much going on here. I was tinkering around with airplaying the zoom to my 55-inch television. So you guys have been the stars of my 55-inch television today.
Wow.
Yay.
We're sorry.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Nick Marentes, any parting thoughts from you, sir?
No. I'm just recovering from David's segment still. It's rolling in my head. I got to get rid of that.
The Grease Weasel was the hit. It's the runaway hit. Other shows are going to be scouring and scammering to come up with content as riveting
fact,
as Grease Weasel.
Can you change the title of this show to Grease Weasel?
Grease Weasel. That will be the title of the show. Grease Weasel. Yes.
Episode 1.
The Grease Monkey would be better.
Yes.
Grease Monkey's taken.
Yeah. Richard
Yeah.
Script-
Those
any
scripting language
final
from
thoughts from
Mozilla.
you, sir?
Yes, be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Oh man, it's a commercial.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. Hopefully, I'll put the video of the demonstration of the wireless joysticks and some more demos and things like that. I just like I said, I was working on it all night trying to get that stupid connector put on that board. It was quite a challenge. So.
All right. Well, we're glad you did. And the lovely and talented Alan Huffman, thanks for being here. Any final thoughts from you, parting words? Anything you want to share?
Don't panic.
Don't panic. All right.
Very well said.
And always be a cool fruit.
Yes.
Yeah. 42.
David Ladd, the star of today's show, the runaway success of David Ladd's floppy enthusiasms, motivating.
His segment went like a greased monkey.
Yes, it did. Anything you want to leave
Slippery.
us with, David? In 40 minutes or less.
40 minutes or less? Oh, okay. 40 minutes. Yes.
And you can't
got
use the word
time.
floppy anywhere.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
Or
It's-
flux.
Everybody, treat everybody nicely. Rejoice in the Coco community and share the love amongst us all.
All right.
Oh,
You know we love
come
you,
on, be
David.
quiet.
Bite me.
Yeah.
Somebody said bite me.
And
Your people skills suck.
Back in the 90s, I belonged to I had my email. It said biteme.com. So if anybody got mad or was mad at me or something, I'd send them an email to Ron Del Low at biteme.com.
real mature. Really bringing the show.
That's pretty sophomoric of you there, Ron.
Thank you.
Jason, the Coco Man Reichard. Final word, final thoughts.
Ask your doctor if David Ladd is right for you.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
4 out of 5 doctors would say no.
4 out of 5 doctors would say never grease a
Ladd for
weasel.
more than 2 hours.
Isn't that what Placeblex was invented for?
Yeah, I need a mind eraser. All right, say goodbye, everybody. I'm pressing the button.
Goodbye,
Say goodbye,
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Everyone, enjoy your floppies.
No, yeah. We are going to get the flux out of here. All right, goodbye, people.
Oh.